Welcome to Blink 155,
Whoa.
the only...
Wakes me up when you do that. It's like just feeling really low energy, and then I got this guy fucking yelling at me over here.
That's it, man. That's what I'm here to do. You and all the listeners in the nation. Good morning. I'm really going to lean into the Morning Zoo Crew side of my personality.
I feel like you're not really... I feel like you're like me, sort of... If it was up to you, you'd maintain like a 12-year-old's summer schedule. Like you're not an early riser, but you have such morning person vibes sometimes.
That honest fucking God, dude. That's the first time you've said something that truly offended me. Everything else, all the other japes and jollies we've enjoyed together, saying I feel like a morning person, even though you know for a fucking fact that I am not. Because I'm still cool.
I know, but even it's nighttime, and now I feel like it's morning.
I'm walking away right now.
Yeah, you're probably going for a walk to get a fucking fresh baguette while the rest of the house is still asleep, and there's steam coming off of it.
Look, I think it's really nice to have, the person you love or, the person you're having with just like wake up with a sensation that they're being cared for. So sue me that I get up, before the sun is even, cracked the horizon to fetch the freshest baguettes.
I think giving off the energy that you're like wearing a full Patagonia suit and using ski poles to walk briskly down the sidewalk to pick up pumpkin spice lattes for everyone, but still not being a morning person. That's kind of the best of both worlds, I think.
It's
I don't
not.
see why you'd get offended.
No, because what it means is that you've adopted all of the signifiers of the worst people in the world and then none of the productivity that typically accompanies those character traits. Like, I'm envious of morning people because generally they're getting shit done before you're up. And then I'll be like, well, I get shit done at night, but I fucking don't. Like, what do I do? The pod? I mean, come on.
Well, that's getting shit done, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also think that I'm kind of becoming a morning person, but I also refuse to go to bed early. But I can't sleep in anymore.
Supposed to make you, you're up at 7 a.m. and jogging, and you've written a novel by 10.
You'd think so, but no. I'm still.
You said you're on a very active Instagram for a very cool podcast.
I still sort of maintain the lifestyle of an extremely depressed alcoholic, just in a much cheaper way.
Now, is that like cultural appropriation, though?
Good question.
Like, I feel like, my culture is not your costume, Josiah.
Right.
You can't just sleep in and pretend you feel like shit and then get, a Virgin Bloody Mary or something?
No, I still do feel like shit, though, and I'm surrounded by cans of seltzer water.
Right.
I constantly have a hangover. I think you're stealing valor from morning people.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I know. I get that that's your perspective, and again, I'm truly offended. I'm not. I wish I was that. I wish I could be, because from time to time, recently, I had to wake up at 4 a.m. For something, and tomorrow morning I have to wake up at 5 a.m. And often when I'm on the street at those hours, I think this is kind of nice. It's so calm, and the inverse of that, which is when you see 4 a.m. because you've been up, is it never feels calm. Because typically, your brain is not. So to have the sort of peace or just general cloudiness of the morning without chemicals or what have you, sort of fucking up your vibes is very nice. It's really nice. Oh my God, do I love the mornings? It's just the pod. We're 3 minutes into this. I'm I actually think the morning is tight as hell.
You are a morning person. You are. No, I agree. I've become the same way. I think it's because we're old. We have been facing our mortality this week, as we're going to do on the episode as well. But I think as I get older, I've more than ever, I say the most annoying things, like if the times that we get up early, if we have left the house by 9 a.m., which is very early to me, I'll always say around 1 p.m., we've just gotten so much done today, haven't we?
It's amazing. If
it's nice outside, I'll be like, oh, it's such a shame that we're just cooped up in here, isn't it? We should get out there. And in fact, a few weeks ago, we were walking around Mile End and the sun was shining. And so I was kind of not only have I adopted this pose, I think ever since I quit smoking cigs, I've adopted this pose where I always put my hands behind my back when I'm just idling. I sort of just hold my own hand behind my back. So I was doing that.
Sort of like your Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, or like I'm just like a young schoolboy waiting for
you could sort of rock on the balls of your feet or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So I stand like that, or I'll do the full on I'll do the full on hands on hips thing. And it was really sunny in Mount, so I was doing that, and I was like squinting like crazy and being like, now which direction do we go in? And Sarah said I've never seen more like her dad, because I just was like squinting and had my hands on my hips. So I think we're just like extremely old, and that's why we love the morning.
Okay, I get it. And is that part of why you've been sort of having an existential crisis in the chats this week? Because I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves in terms of episode chatter, but in terms of pod chatter, you're spiraling right now.
I am spiraling a little bit.
You were convinced that the end of the podcast is coming like tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, let's just fucking say the song title and start the episode.
Wildfire.
Damn, man, you really wanted to get down to business.
Thankfully, we can talk about it. Yeah, because there's a lot to talk about, because this is a first this week.
Oh, God, yeah, that's right. That's why, okay, right, yeah.
This is the first time this has happened in the 17 years we've been doing this podcast, but we are actually crowning an album, or I guess we're more putting its feet in cement and throwing it into the river.
The record has finished crowning us. And
now we're giving birth.
We're cutting the umbilical cord.
Exactly. We're getting so old. And then I was thinking, like, right as of right now, there's definitely less than a year until the pod is over. There are so many hits coming up that we got to figure out, which is insane.
The spreadsheet, as you have kind of updated it to just keep sort of all, like, you've moved everything. So instead of being in alphabetical order, now it's just everything we haven't done up at the top. And it is literally just like bullshit ass joke songs, covers, and all of the biggest Blink-182 songs.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot to figure out, but because this isn't a hit, we could do it. Like, we've kind of been trying to plan how we're going to do these hits. Mm-hmm. But because this one's not a hit, we're like, oh, yeah, let's just do this one. Oh, shit. This is the end of California Deluxe. I mean, what a journey it's been. It's kind of become shorthand for something that we resent and aren't looking forward to. And that, I guess it's good. The worst is over. But I almost feel like I have Stockholm Syndrome now.
And now that episode, this is how we start looping back on ourselves. And it never ends. I mean, it's funny. We talked about this. Should we do? Okay, this song seems good. We can do this, and then we'll be done. Callie D. And I was like, thank fucking God. Like in the chat, I mean, and in my heart at the time, I was like, great to close that chapter. And even leading up, my whole intro was going to be like the internet's only Blink-182 podcast that is sort of sentient enough to be aware of its own mortality and is currently, spiraling deep into, a crisis of faith. But now I feel weird about it. Like now that you're actually talking about it, and it's not just like you and I on chat being like, "Oh shit, no more Cali Deluxe." I'm like, crazy, peace. You see who from like Noisy or Fader or whatever got fired, and then we,
talk about instead.
Yeah, exactly. Then we just move on to.
I wonder if like every single person who works in any form of media just has a never-ending G chat or Facebook chat scroll of them talking about the same people in Brooklyn that they've never met.
You know what's horrifying is like I know for a fact, like, when I used to work with like Ashley and Nicole and Shane and Daniel and these people that we talked about on the pod before, like you would cruise by anyone's desk and there were 10 G-chat windows open, all with each other, with you, like, and all gossiping, about the same Brooklyn bloggers that like we have never met but can't stop gossiping about. And when I started working in places that weren't like just full of snarky, music journalists, like no one spends all day on G-chat. I'll cruise by people. They might be like looking at clothes or something, but they don't fuck around just like being on Twitter and being in the chat. And it's super weird to see how other people don't work.
Right. They spend their days on ASOS or something.
Exactly.
To the customer service.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Incredible.
It must be such a peaceful life to be like that. Instead of like forming just like either searing hatred or just kind of general indifference, never positive feelings towards someone that you'll never interact with.
Yeah. No.
But maybe that'll be our next podcast, is just sort of a media Twitter, looking back on a decade of media Twitter.
We gotta like give it an era or something, like treat it like a real, like, give it a cool name. And then media Twitter 2007 to 2013 or whatever.
Oh no, this is what I was going to say to really hammer home the mortality thing. So, as of right now, the pod will end before the end of 2020. That will mean that the pod, like, basically right now, we're still technically in our early 30s. But when the pod ends, we'll both be 35. And then we're really staring down the barrel. Then we both have to get our shit together and become morning people for real.
Yeah, no, that's it. When you turn 35, you have two choices, like die young or become a morning person and maybe like enjoy your 80s or whatever.
Yeah, so I have a lot of shit to figure out while doing the next year of podding. I got to figure out so much shit about how to open Excel. I don't even know if I can get Excel on my laptop. It always opens numbers, whatever that is. So I got to figure that out. I got to figure out how to get Siri to actually schedule things so that I don't miss my appointments all the time.
Right, yeah.
Because I don't know how to get into my reminders. I don't know if I've said this before, but I don't know how to get into my reminders. And so I'll always be like, hey Siri, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow at 11. Please remind me. And then I'll get a reminder that says like, well, I was trying to think of a joke, but I don't know what rhymes with dentist. But it'll say something like that. It'll say tent fist. And I'll say, what the fuck is a tent fist? And then I'll just go on with my day laughing about my phone, and I'll miss
This scenario's never happened.
It has. It happens every time. I always get some bizarre message, and it turns out that I was supposed to do something very important for work, and I missed it, and everyone's mad at me. So, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, you know what? It's starting to sound more believable.
There's a lot of things I have to figure out in the next year by the time I turn 35 and no longer have a Blink-182 podcast. So, luckily, until then... Well, go ahead. What are you thinking?
Just the idea.
I'm trying to make you really sad.
No, it's working. I mean, just the idea that this Blink-182 podcast is going to have episodes in the year 2020 is like, that's embarrassing. I'm just picturing like seeing the date next to it, like in iTunes, where it's like this episode came out on like, April 21st, 2020. I'll be like, no, that's fucked. This is what I did with the future. Like, I'm in the future. Like, 2020 is going to be the most future year. And we're obviously like currently in November, which is, when Blade Runner takes place. Like, we're running out of movies, I guess, at least from our childhood, that sort of showed us some version of the future that is, in sort of some troubling ways partially come true. Mostly all the cool shit didn't happen. And then just to be like, all right, well, what did you do in the future? Like, what did you do in 2020? And it was just like...
So in this scenario, you're going to the past. So you're going to travel to the past.
Yes.
And they're going to say, what did you do with the future in 2020?
What did you... Yeah, in the future, they'll ask what I did in the past, the future past. And but they will also be referring to it as the future, because we will have sort of spiritually will be talking about the past.
And they're also going to all be slave owners because you've traveled back to Civil War time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and those are and you're friends with them, and you're not doing anything about it because you'd rather feel sorry for yourself about a Blink-182 podcast.
Exactly. I don't want to rock the boat,
But I do want to rock the vote. Fat Mike, everybody.
So how are you?
So let's just say this.
You've been struggling.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, fuck, what are we going to do? This is wild. But at the same time, we don't have to worry about it yet. We're going to live one day at a time here. We're going to do one episode at a time. We're going to make sure every episode is the exact same quality.
Nothing's going to change in this last year. It's not getting better.
Yeah. Well, that's for the listener to decide what that level of quality is, but it's going to be the same no matter what. So let's really give this one our all. Let's really go deep into the song from the very final song from California Deluxe, Wildfire.
Are you going to play it again here? Is that?
I would like to, because the intro has so much going on. I mean, this. Well, what do you think of this song?
So it's mostly bad, except for the parts that are really good. Unlike almost everything else on Cali Deluxe that feels like a fully realized bad idea, this feels like a half-realized good idea. Even the vocal performances, like none of it feels like it was intended to be final. Like the way that Mark's voice sounds on this, with exceptions, like the stuff in the chorus and like him and Skiba singing together is actually kind of sick. But in the opening verses when Mark starts singing, it's really like he doesn't sound like he's really trying. Like it feels like a scratch track to me.
Yeah.
And nothing else on Cali Deluxe has this feeling. And then but at the same time, I think it's really odd because there's aspects of the song that are like pretty fucking sick. Also, like it's like a homage to their past consistently, right? I mean, the opening, what is it? Is the opening Roller Coaster, that bass part? Like it's just it has all these interesting things happening in it, and I kind of wish that that they had seen it through more than anything else on the CD. What about you?
I'm kind of confused about Blink-182 and everything, as I have been for the past 3 years, and will continue to be for time immemorium. But
I think this might just be how you live, man.
Yeah, I think it's just I'm learning to live with it. But maybe the more they sound like Enema of the State, the more embarrassing they are, and maybe that's why 9 is like. I mean. It's pretty fucking gross, I think. We're going to be talking about a lot of 9. That's an interesting thing about saying goodbye to California Deluxe is now all of that energy will be focused on 9, which is kind of
hello to 9. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like kind of a death and a birth at the same time.
When God closes a door, he
opens a 9.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't think of anything better than that. But that was good. It was good. I liked it.
But yeah, like I think 9, people like 9 because it just sounds like modern Cologne rock. And I mean that in that it smells like Cologne when you listen to it, and it also seems like what some guy in Cologne would be into, like Germany.
Right? Yeah, it's like not a top tier German city.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's a lot of German guys who are into modern Blink-182. But
for sure. The way you're describing it also kind of reminds me of the way that Mark Teo from we got to finish that in the next year. The trilogy of the Short Music for Short People exclusive episodes, and the complement of the pod, that Moist is doing a reunion, or I guess like an anniversary celebration of their debut album, the hit, I'm sure only in Canada, Silver. And we were talking about it today at work, and multiple people were quite upset about like the frequent use of the term moist. And I was explaining like, oh yeah, I used to work with this guy who had like a dozen increasingly horrifying ways of referring to this band, including still my favorite, greasy fuck rock.
And we really are somehow teaching people about the most useless Canadian rock knowledge.
This is Canadian culture. is
Moist and Our Lady Peace and Matthew Good Band and Woolworm on the pod this week. So it's a big can rock
spoiler?
Week.
Jesus Christ, man.
But yeah, I think the new stuff just sounds like new music, whereas when they try to sound like old music, which was like very energetic pop punk, but they do it through Feldy's like newfangled whatever, the iPad that he's plugging everything into or whatever. Yeah. It just sounds really thin. Like it sounds like iPad rock. So maybe that's why it sounds so scratch tracky.
Yeah, the vocals feel like they were recorded like in a car, where it was like, we got a really dead sound in here. Just sing it to my this great app that I got for 99 cents. Like that's really the vibe. And also like the lyrics, maybe we need to just go through this part by part.
The lyrics are going to be a lot of fun. But the other thing is like truly the weird thing about it is that the intro does sound completely over the top. Like there's so much going on. It's just like it's like a tech death metal song at the start. Like it's just ridiculous. And then it gets to this like limp HGTV punk sound. So it's kind of confusing in that sense already, because it's like, did they just blow all of their creative load on the first 5 seconds to have like Travis go dun 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 dun, and then I don't know.
The whole thing feels kind of like they're joking because again, like that bass line exactly is Roller Coaster, right? Isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but
or it's just the most like computer generated Blink-182 bass part.
Yeah,
and then elsewhere it kind of sounds like someone like at an open mic, like someone on Who's Line, like riff, like write a song in the style of Blink-182.
Wait, that's a literal actual. Have we played that before? That's a thing. I think we played that on a pod.
Have we? Yeah,
I think so. But maybe I got to find it again because you just said that.
We should definitely listen to. I mean, listen. No one, unless you've done the thing where you've only listened to this podcast for
You know what I'm really into these days? The alternative scene.
Yes,
from Moist to Colin Mockery.
That's exactly when I think of the alternative scene, I too go, Especially when I think about the sounds of Blink-182.
I can never tell what year it is when I watch these.
Man, girl.
because the clothes are timelessly improper.
Everyone's wearing silk.
Okay.
She's a hit girl.
Hilarious joke.
Really good.
I probably said this the last time we watched it, but like, Wayne Brady is a talent.
you did say that last time.
We did him wrong. We did Wayne Brady wrong.
You're a morning person who likes Wayne Brady. It all checks out.
Did they like make these guys dress like this though? Because they could not look stupider.
It looks, first of all, the backdrop of this era of Whose Line of It Anyways looks exactly like the Teen Study Bible. Like, I feel like you would even know this.
I don't
if
know.
If not, I'm finding it for you.
Yeah, you might have finally gone too deep on God for me. Just the idea of catching up on the pod. I was having dinner with my family last night, and like I've generally tried to keep the pod away from my. It does look like the Teen Study Bible. I've generally tried to keep the pod away from my family because it's just so it's so dumb and awful to explain. But I had recently sent my mom the photo of Poli-Sci Alex's baby in like custom Blink-155 swag, just to be like, when this comes up, just to give you an idea. Like, here's sort of the stuff that happens around it. Is like someone we don't know in America made their baby like gear for the pod, and my mom was like, cute. Like, she seemed quite tickled by it. And we were chatting about it a little bit, and like she asked my sister, she's like, "Do you listen?" My sister was like, "Yes, I'm all caught up." And she's never seemed more ashamed of her involvement, which has sort of been a consistent theme throughout her fandom, you know?
Yeah, it's the best is the people who are ashamed of themselves for listening to the pod.
Yeah.
That's definitely the best feeling to know.
Just a quick aside about seeing the shame in your eyes last night, Suzanne.
All right, let's get into these lyrics.
But I feel like they're fucking around. Like, I feel like there's an element of like, okay, we're gonna do like the most Blink-182 song ever, like with this bass line, with these lyrics, with this melody, but we're just gonna like go fucking ham around it. And I think that's like kind of fun, even though I don't know that it totally works, but yeah, the idea of like do 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 do
yeah,
is funny. Like, it's a funny joke.
I think it's just good, straight up good.
It's just like, it's hard to be like really funny on drums. Like, you basically, the only way to do it is to do like the animal thing of like trying desperately to be tasteful and then just becoming, you know.
That's true. I mean, the other obvious way to be funny on drums is to do the when someone makes a joke. It's kind of like it's the only way to be funny on drums, really.
Right.
I feel like you're a racing animal as a talented drummer.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for disrespecting the hilarity of the drums through history too.
I think the problem is the guitar tone is just like so gross and shitty on this song. It's so thin. Like, it sounded exactly the same as the guitar tone in the Whose Line video.
Yeah, but that's it. So, maybe it's not just the vocals. Like maybe this really was like kind of temp. But then they released this. At least I'm looking at the lyrics right now on Genius, and the little sidebar says this was a single. That's in scare quotes right now.
I love that their deluxe version of their like this. The existence of this album is just so funny in general because it's like. The idea of a deluxe album used to be like adding 2 songs to it or whatever, but then they just like released another full album, but they didn't want to admit that it was an album in case it wasn't good. Yeah. And so they called it a deluxe version, but it's like there's been 4 singles from a deluxe edition of an album.
Yeah, that's an album. I mean, it is. How many songs are these actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7...
Just
11. It's an album.
Sam counting tracks out loud.
I was just thinking, like, this is as bad as me talking about temperature last week.
It's good. The pod is good.
The pod is fucking great.
It's because we should start doing it at 7 in the morning when that morning dew first hits.
I think so. I got to be dewier when I hit the mic.
But yeah, okay. This is how Blink-182 described the song when they released it. And I did post this on Exclaim. I found when I was researching. But this is what Blink-182 said. Think of your favorite song from Enema of the State.
Okay.
Now think of your favorite song from California.
Okay, is this like a David Blaine style mind? Am I like mind freaked?
Well. Maybe, because listen to this. Now imagine them falling in love and starting a family of their own. That's what this song is.
Songs can do that?
I think, are they trying to do like those 2 songs fucked on acid, but instead they're like too wholesome to go all the way through.
They fell in love. Yeah. They started a family. There was a miscarriage, but of course, it was devastating, but they supported each other. And now they still
gave it a name because it was still part of the family for that brief moment.
Right.
And so they'll still remember that song.
Yeah, exactly.
No, what I'm trying to understand is these 2 songs got married and engaged in coitus within the confines of matrimony. Mm-hmm. And then they started a family of their own. And this song that's what this song is, they've said. So this song is an entire family. And is that explaining why there's just so much going on in so many parts?
This is because the decal on the back of the van that's like all the kids, there's a dog, there's 2 cats. Yeah.
Or it's like the one where they're all zombies because it's like someone who's like very bacon about it. Driving their car.
It's an epic family.
So maybe that explains why it's so busy because the song is an entire family. Also, just like who's Blink-182's copywriter, and can I have that job? And also, just don't send this out if you're going to send something this bad.
You should definitely, because like everyone has, like most like famous people have like their in-house photographer, their videographer. They might have their barber, or their hairstylist, or whatever. But does anyone have a copywriter? I think that's like more artists need, and I think you could be a pioneer in the field of celebrity support.
Celebrity copywriter?
Yeah.
I think that
have you heard Josiah's the copywriter for Mark Hoppus and John Feldman.
Not only do I want that as sort of a side gig, but also I could see celebrity copywriter becoming my E-channel reality show.
Oh, yeah, totally. And you've got like your own little kind of like harem or whatever of copywriters.
Yeah, like the call to action needs to be stronger.
Yeah. And they all of course they all then subsequently have their own personalities. So it's like you get all these different people. How are they going to get along? And
there's a guy who's like a published poet and he hates copywriting, but he like just needs to pay his rent. Because Los Angeles rents are out of control. Because also by this point we've obviously moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I never thought this show was set in Montreal or anything. No, this is definitely like your offices are obviously on Santa Monica Boulevard. And
well, I mean, we will spin it off with Celebrity Copywriter Canada, where people are like, "How do I get?"
Well, then you're just licensing the format and like,
yeah, exactly.
You're getting some shitty media company here to produce it. Just no one watches it because
what can we say about Mariana's Trench that hasn't been said already?
Right, yeah. There's not that many jobs.
Where does the fucking apostrophe go in Mariana's Trench? I'm like pounding the desk.
Right, yeah. Yo, Celebrity Copywriter Canada is going to be good.
Maybe I should skip the LA version and just do the celebrity. I'm going to pitch that to CBC Gem. Celebrity Copywriter Canada.
Who will write the tweets for Bulow? Gotta have those fire tweets.
Oh my God. There's so many cruel things I want to tell you about some people that we know right now, but I will later.
Should we just listen, let's just mark this time down, and then if you can just sort of give me the goss into these microphones.
No, I'm not doing
safely. Yeah.
I'm typing something out right now.
Oh, you said this is great. Again, this is a good reminder to plug the Patreon, where you've just posted the Loudness Wars just today when we're recording. Posted the Loudness Wars Part 2 with Drew of Just Drew's show at Rappin' for Safety. So that's very exciting, I think, for everyone. You're writing a lot.
I got it. And Sam hasn't listened to the Loudness Wars yet, and so I like the idea that I'm sort of
insane. Hold on, I just want you to know. Lol. Okay, just that's got to be entered into the chat transcripts for.
It really bums people out when
gets published in a museum.
When we tell each other these secrets in GChat while we're
talking.
Do
people tell you? Because I guess more people give you their sort of reactions to the pod.
Because you're sort of this. Like you're kind of like how Taylor Swift goes into a suitcase to travel in order to not interact with the public. That's kind of the vibe that you're giving off lately. It's like you're in an ivory tower.
I am, absolutely. I'm in my ivory suitcase. So people don't like it when you gossip to me in the chat, like while we're recording the podcast, and we just laugh at each other. They don't like that.
They get FOMO.
Could you tell me who said that in the chat right now?
I'm trying to remember it. No, they're not. Oh fuck! What is that word from Succession? They're not real people or whatever.
Oh right, yeah. NRP, not a real person or whatever.
These episodes are just getting so much worse. All right, let's read these fucking lyrics.
Yeah.
I will say, with the HGTV guitar at the start and with the lyrics, the first 3 lines are so Simple Plan.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Is this feels like a Whose Line version of Write a Pop Punk Song. I had it kind of on in the background, and when I heard I Don't Want to Grow Up, I was like, you're fucking kidding me.
I know. And for some reason, I still absolutely love. So another thing I did last week is I made a Gob mixtape. Because people were asking for sort of my guide to Gob, so I made a Gob mixtape, and then I remembered I'd made all these.
People were clamoring for this. It's
there's not really actually. I've been looking at the listens, and I was like, God damn it,
it's less in demand than you thought it would be.
Yeah, but then I remembered, all these years ago, I made all these pop punk mixtapes on my SoundCloud, so I was listening to them, and
they're all pretty good. I remember those.
There was one I made that was all 2016 new pop punk, and it gets very rough in the middle when I start losing my mind and playing Magic songs and stuff. But I was like, there's a bunch of newer Simple Plan on there, and I was like, I love Simple Plan. I think even as they get older, it's so funny what they're doing that they could just write a song that's like, Mom and Dad, suck my dick, and I'd be like, you mean that. That's coming from the heart, you know what I mean? But when Blink-182 are singing this Simple Plan lines to start off this song, it makes me so depressed.
Well, it just feels like this has got to be Blink's version of just singing kind of sounds to get a melody out, where you're just trying to find the syllables. So you're just the way that you're fuck around when you're writing, and this is maybe their version of just placeholder syllables. It's I don't want to grow up, I don't want to grow up, growing up is bad. And then you're okay, I'll write real lyrics eventually. And then instead the actual lyrics are, I could never own up, I need to speak up, I don't want to grow up.
Up. Yeah.
Don't want to end up caught in a landslide with the other side. It's fuck. Oh my God. It's fucking so bad.
But then, that's just at least bad in a generic way.
And
but
then,
verse 2 is just, I can't stop thinking about this. First of all, okay, no, not first of all. Let's just read it together. I think
together,
we have to read
do you want to read it in?
No, let's just start with those 2 lines, because that's alone an entire episode's worth.
Okay, but are
lines.
we reading it in unison? Do you want to?
Sure, yeah, okay. Let's do it. Okay, but very monotone, we're reading a liturgy at a sort of living for the paycheck. Dying for the weekend. Amen. Living for the paycheck, dying for the weekend. First of all, I mean, we've talked about this so much, but when do you think was the last time Mark Hoppus? Well, like, if you're like a celeb, do you have payday? Or how does that work?
Oh,
even?
yeah.
When's payday? Every two, like, you're like, oh, fuck, we can't go to Crossroads because my rent check is coming out or my mortgage payment is coming out, and I'm going to be having toast for dinner. And then on Friday we can go to Crossroads.
I really wonder, because presumably all of this money goes into like Wizard Viking Eyes LLC or whatever.
Right.
And then, do you set it up so that, because like the employees of the band, like, those people all get paid on a kind of consistent schedule. Is the band the same thing? Like, does Mark Hoppus just get paid every 2 weeks?
It's such
That's
a funny
weird.
idea.
I don't know. I'm going to ask. I'm traveling with my boss tomorrow morning, who's like a kind of like lifer label guy, and so I'm just making a note here.
Yeah, I'd like to know for next week
to say, do bands get paid bi-weekly / bi-monthly? I mean, fuck, so confusing.
Also, like, there are celebs who I'm sure are not very liquid, so to speak, and so they maybe are actually like kind of like worried about the next paycheck because they've spent too much money on shopping or whatever. I don't know. There was like that. There's, to get back to media Twitter for a minute. There was that profile of Lena Dunham where the writer had to buy her coffee and pastry because her card was declined while she was getting interviewed.
Right.
So maybe,
I wonder, like are liquid celebs like another tier of celebrity?
Right.
Who are the liquid celebs?
Then again, Mark Hoppus is not the kind of celeb who's like trying to flaunt how rich he is, really. So I think he's probably not like blowing all of his money on ATVs or whatever. He's pretty much just like buying Nintendo Switch games, although I think he gets those for free too. I don't know.
He's probably just very good at saving money.
But then again, even still, to save money, you got to get that paycheck. And then when that comes in, you got to say, oh, my app, there's those little savings apps on your phone. So he's going on, what is it called, like Mint or something?
Yeah, checking Mint, being like, ooh, I've spent too much on Uber Eats this month.
Yeah, he's like, we've gone to one too many movies this week, Sky. We got to cut down on that. I don't know. I mean, it's just, either way, I find it, as someone who really, that is where I say my culture is not a costume, living paycheck to paycheck. That's my thing, okay? You're not allowed to just sing about that unless you're living it.
Well, and again, it just feels like this also feels like the inverse of Kings of the Weekend, where they did this like pandering thing to try to be like, hell yeah, fucking just working and then just letting it all hang out on Saturdays, baby. And then this is sort of like, damn, it's so sad when all you do is work. So you're just dying to get to that Saturday night. Like, it just feels like they're now judging the totally invented personas of Kings of the Weekend.
Right. No, maybe that's true. I was also thinking, I mean, I guess it works as that he's looking forward for the weekend, but I also kind of read this as like he loves work. Like I live for this, working during the week, and then when the weekend comes around, he feels like he's dying. So in a way, it could be interpreted as
Monday, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of a pro work week. So maybe he's just being a sort of a class traitor. It's like I like
this song actually. Now.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of a Billy Bragg song.
Right? Yeah. Well, look at it's necessary balance in the punk universe, right?
So whether or not Mark Hoppus is getting a paycheck or not, he does next sing, "Take another Xanax, cheating on your girlfriend. Take another." Even the tense changes here. So take another Xanax is present, and then I don't actually remember what tense is cheating on your girlfriend, but something does change there. There's no ing on take, okay? And I am a professional writer, so.
Yeah, this is what they need you for, man. This is how you're going to get your Netflix show. Celebrity hero. Maybe that's what it's called. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, hero? Yeah.
Copy hero. That could be the tagline. I mean, and ultimately, when you have a show called Celebrity Copywriter Canada, all of the taglines and the poster copy is really where you're going to be judged the most harshly, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but definitely the audience has like finely tuned aesthetic taste for a show like that.
I mean, what do you think of this line? Take another Xanax, cheating on your girlfriend, taking your last breath, counting down the time. So he's saying take and taking here. So I feel like the timeline is hopping around a little bit here. Getting a little bit memento-y.
This is. I was like, ooh, I love this Nolan-esque turn in the narrative. Like similarly, like I didn't have the lyrics up. I was just sort of listening to the song, and that first own up, speak up, grow up thing happened. Where I was like, what the fuck? And then I kind of let it keep sliding. And then when he does the take another Xanax, cheating on your girlfriend, I was like, I got to pull up these lyrics and start this song again because this is fucking insane. Like it's. I don't know. It just feels like weird Mad Libs of like, what do the kids do these days? Xans. I've heard about Xans.
Right. I've heard about cheating. I've heard about having a girlfriend, first of all. That's a thing that people have done before.
It's an innovative, it's like a California celebrity thing that they have going on.
I also love that in the Genius annotation is like, even though Mark's singing this, it's probably referring to Matt or Travis.
Yeah, rude.
Come on, Mark could still do that if he wanted.
Yeah, let Mark enjoy take Xanax and cheat on his girlfriend. It's a really long annotation. Like it's all about Xanax. I was curious, but I think this is just written by Blink-182 and then produced by John Feldman. So they're the ones who are like, Xanax. It wasn't like they didn't get Lil Xan to come in and help them out. It was like, you know what the kids like? Me.
Whatever happened to Lil Xan? Where did he go?
Yeah, it felt like he got sort of sucked up into the like black hole that Lil Peep left, but was not, I think, necessarily deserving of the crown. I mean, he does have 5.5 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah, but he's not media Twitter.
No, yeah, he wishes. It was like I guess like. I don't know. That record came out, and he had that one review, or the one.
I think it was the meme. The meme
viral,
with him,
right?
The meme of him and Noah Cyrus was probably like his defining moment in his life.
Yeah.
And the Adam 22 interview. So he's probably just those two things are like, well, you're not going to top that.
Yeah. I mean, congrats.
Wow.
Congrats, man.
So that's sort of the caliber of referencing that Blink-182 is doing here. Is a guy who literally no one will ever remember was famous for a few months. And people just haven't figured out. There is a few taps involved to unfollow someone on Instagram. So probably they're just like, whatever.
Just think how fucking sick it's going to be.
I still follow Brandon Biebel, the pro skater. I followed him when I first got Instagram because I had just seen Yeah Right around then. I was like, I'm going to follow Brandon Biebel. And I still follow him for some reason. And like, I don't know. There's like, you got to push a drop-down menu to unfollow someone.
Oh, yeah. It's way too much. I just really, like, this happens to me from time to time when you're talking about these sort of like, incredibly like specific to a moment kind of celebrities where like, you know, think about every time like Eddie Furlong is in the news now and you're like, what? Incredible. That's Eddie Furlong? It's like in 20 years it'll be like whatever clickbait looks like in 20 years. Like, we will absolutely be fed like, remember Lil Xan? And we'll be like, I think. And then we'll click on it, and like that's going to happen. Like Lil Xan is going to, I mean, knock on wood, you know, age like the rest of us, and we'll be able to experience him as clickbait for the rest of our fucking lives. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really fighting the temptation to call Sarah into the room to talk about Eddie Furlong for the next 45 minutes because she's obsessed.
She's like obsessed, right?
Yeah, that's for another day, I think. Because we're trying. I mean, there's still so many lyrics left alone.
Yeah, we have not really made our way to the chorus of the song yet.
So the chorus, and there's so many notes for the chorus, and I'm so glad when I click that it shows a dead body. That's how as it should.
What? Jesus Christ!
Don't tell me it's too late. I'm stuck at heaven's gate. Strike a match and start a wildfire. I'll own all my mistakes, won't give you what you take, watch you burning in the wildfire. I kind of think like the first verse, I agree, is like just sort of consonants that are bullshit, but I kind of feel like the chorus, in terms of like a generic chorus that I don't notice or think about and is just like pablum to go with a pop punk song, I'm not offended by any of it. It's not embarrassing.
No, I feel the same way, and I like there's some that Strike a Match and Start a Wildfire has like a great like kind of skiba hoppus joint melody. It's quite sick. I totally don't hate it. I think it's pretty good.
So, but according to this annotation, this song handles suicide and depression. So have we gotten to that part yet? Because
I just don't know that. I don't buy it. Like I saw that because that's even before we clicked on this annotation for the chorus. Like the general summary is like the song is about giving up on life, suicide, and finding your way out of the bottom. And then when you click on the annotation for "Don't Tell Me It's Too Late," it's like, yeah, this one's definitely about suicide. It's like, is it?
Isn't it about Tom, first of all?
Yeah. And like and as you mentioned, the dead body, because there's a whole thing here about the Heaven's Gate like cult.
Which I love. So I mean, I haven't read this yet, but I would love. I'm also just mesmerized by this animated GIF of a match burning. In case you didn't know what it means. Maybe that nowadays, now that people have an app to light their candles, they don't know what it looks like to strike a match. So this GIF here is very helpful.
Yeah, this is great.
But yeah, I mean, I'm going to read this whole. This is amazing. There's full on like pictures of the poor corpses from the Heaven's Gate mass suicide in the annotation for this Blink-182 song. The Heaven's Gate line has a double meaning. Along with the imagery of someone who has just committed suicide and now waits at the gates to enter heaven, it also references the religious cult that staged a mass suicide in late March 1997, believing a UFO would take their souls to another level of existence above human. Mark would know this incident well, since it occurred in Rancho Santa Fe, the San Diego area near where the band formed.
I don't know. Like, do you know all about the stuff that happened near Calgary? Like, I don't. No, I feel like if someone was like, "Oh,
that's
that
not where I'm
near
from,
Toronto."
Sam. Stop it! I'm not from there.
Listen,
stop.
You're
no,
from.
I've never even been there.
Windsor.
Okay,
you're from Scotland. Okay, so this is like that you know all about.
Look, for all intents and purposes, I'm from Vancouver. Okay.
Okay, I don't buy it.
There's gonna be Vancouver people listening this week.
Right, okay, right. So you're
I'm
trying
from Vancouver.
Yeah, well, I've seen your East Van tattoo. Like, I know how dedicated you are to the community.
I know. It's weird. I've had it for a long time, so just don't pay any attention to the peeling because it's not.
No. That was just you were just getting it cleaned up, kind of refreshed, right?
I just think genius reads like. First of all, no one knows anything about like metaphors or anything. Like there are so many missed opportunities for someone intelligent to actually come in and sort of help people understand what these songs are actually about. But then whenever there is an annotation, it seems like someone's rushing to do a book report. Like there's no way that A, they're referencing the Heaven's Gate suicide cult, and B, that it's because Mark grew up near where it happened.
No, it's like it's incredibly. It's literal, but it's not even literal. Like, it just feels like a tremendous leap to be like, yes, Heaven's Gate, like the cult. You're like, or just like the sort of the thing that people refer to all the fucking time, the gates of heaven.
The gates of heaven. And also this song that is full of lazy rhymes is obvious. They're not going to be like, don't tell me it's too late. I'm at the gates of heaven. Like, it's like obviously not. They're saying Heaven's Gate not to reference the cult. But it's also like now I'm understanding what it's like to listen to this podcast and we go on these asides.
Right. And you're just like, fuck off. We're just like a big old genius annotation.
We are a big old genius, aren't we?
yeah.
So I guess verse 3, I mean, I feel like I don't even understand this song now.
No,
like,
and it feels like they've annotated it very complicated where it's like chorus, Mark Hoppus, italics, Matt Skiba, and bold, both.
But even before that, there's this part where like he says, they say I'd never make it. And then Matt Skiba goes, watching me fall.
Yeah, it's so
all
good.
All the time I wasted learning to crawl from the ashes as this world comes crashing down. Now, I think everyone's got to stop.
Not a great Matt Skiba. I feel like you're not showing him respect, but that's fine.
Well, I mean, that's for maybe I'll type my real feelings about Matt Skiba into the G chat.
Oh, spicy.
What was I going to say? I think that there needs to be some sort of legislation put in place in this world that no one should be allowed to reference a phoenix coming from the ashes anymore. Like, that's not even first of all, I'm sure that it's from, what is it from, like Greek literature or something? Or where does the ashes phoenix thing come from? Who knows? All I know is it's only ever in like pop punk songs, and it needs to stop. It's like in Kanye songs and pop punk songs, and it's just like enough with the ashes.
Yeah, no, it comes from The Hobbit or whatever. That's right.
Is it for real? Is it? I don't know.
No, it doesn't come. No, it's like
I just want to make sure I'm not. Even when you Google it, people are also spelling phoenix wrong. Yeah, oh wow, I was right. It's ancient Greek folklore.
Yeah, everything's Greek, man. You are super smart though. That's why this.
Come on, give me this.
Give me this
genius,
one, man.
Yeah, I mean, enough with that shit though. Every song. Have you ever put that in a song, a Junior Battle song?
Of course, man. But like, it's a sick metaphor.
It's a sick metaphor for fest.
Yeah, exactly. Which missed this weekend, but if anyone here listens goes, I hope it was so sick.
I hope you do something else with your life. Okay, and then what happens here? There's more of the singing, but then later on, so this is now verse 4, but this is definitely not a verse. This is something else. But then Mark Hoppus sings.
It's also so bad. God, this song fucking keeps going.
It goes on forever, and I still like it, even though it's fucking garbage. I still kind of like it.
Yeah.
But look at these lyrics. The verse, whatever verse 4. Apparently, this is verse 4. Like, this seems like a different song has started at this point. It's definitely not about dying by suicide at this point, nor is it about from autumn to ashes or whatever I said a second ago. The lyrics become, "We won this war." That's already pretty corny. But then, "We cursed and swore."
They did both.
Is there a difference between cursing and swearing?
Well, I guess.
And we keep talking about like swear etymology on the pod lately.
Maybe they literally mean like they were doing curses. Like we hexed people and we said fuck. And they stood no chance at all because they put a pox on their house or whatever.
Or maybe like cursing is when you do more of the sacre bleu tabernacle kind, where it's like a blaspheming kind of way, and then swearing is just saying like, fuck.
Yeah, I buy that.
Maybe that's the difference. I also feel like there has been another recent Blink song, like a newer one, where they say curse and swear.
They were like, "We said cuss."
Like they say, but they said like we cuss and swear. Like I feel like they've said that they've done this sort of redundancy before.
We were talking about this before the pod. I mean, this basically feels like the lyrics to "Misbehavin'" in the Righteous Gemstones.
Right.
We cursed and swore, did it all.
They stood no chance at all, and then this I think is the worst lyric of the song. The underdogs came home.
Now, this isn't annotated on Genius, but of course everyone listening to the pod knows that Underdogs is the smash hit second album from the Matthew Good Band, which contains the hit Apparitions. And so I think, which is of course another word for people who have died by suicide. And so I think that the Underdogs line here is maybe strengthens the argument that this is a song about suicide because it's so clearly a reference to a song about ghosts by the Matthew.
I think it's a reference to the first Terror album, one with the Underdogs.
No, I don't think so.
But this is Matthew Good Band that I'm playing right now.
This is pretty sick. Imagine if that's what Can Rock sounded like. Is like of all the just dumb sort of peculiarities that we enjoy here culturally in Canada. If it was like, and all our most popular bands just sound like Terror.
Yeah, well, Figure 4, hello.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely one of our biggest bands.
One of our biggest bands and Christian. Well, sorta.
Anyways, let's tuck into that. I guess that is like the fact that like Alexis on Fire like basically became like the one of the biggest rock bands in Canada is like consistently shocking. I think also shocking to the members of Alexis on Fire.
Yeah, I mean
they weren't Christian enough though. I guess that's maybe
they weren't.
They could have risen to even. They could have been like Figure 4 if only they had accepted Heaven's Gate.
But like. What is it? Like this song really does feel like it's been back and forth through Google Translate. You know?
The underdogs came home. I guess they're the underdogs. Like that's. They're like, we won. No one. We fucking gave them hell, even though we were the underdogs, and we came home alive. But they're dead. We killed them.
Let's do this. Let's actually do this. I'm going to take the lyrics
and run it through Google Translate.
Yeah. What language should we put it into? And into like back and forth.
Oh. I mean, what language do they speak in Indonesia?
Indonesian is in here.
There you go. That's the answer then.
Okay, we're going to go to Indonesian.
I didn't want to say Indonesia in case it was like one of those like Mexico situations, and I just felt... Anyway, I'm making it worse now.
Mexico? What's Mexico?
Well, they speak Spanish, right? Like it's not Mexican.
Well, you know, probably people in Indonesia can speak Spanish too, you piece of shit.
Well, I'm certainly not saying that people in Indonesia cannot. I enjoy speaking Spanish for fun, you know, for practical purposes.
So they're only allowed to speak. Okay, I've put it into Indonesian and back into English. Okay.
Okay.
This is really good. I think we got to read it together. I almost think this is actually a bit tighter than it was.
Oh my God! Did you put the whole song through?
Yeah, I did.
Sick.
I don't know why. Like I have so many notes, but I just feel like I'm taking my sweet time. I'm trying to enjoy this last year that I have on Earth.
And this last moment with California. Like after this, we can't talk about California Deluxe anymore. So, like, we can't even bring it up.
I think maybe final thoughts also have to include California Deluxe final thoughts.
Okay, yeah.
That's sad.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm worried you're going to cry again. It's going to be like this in your Airbnb bathroom.
I've only laughed on the pod. I think have you sincere cried or no?
I don't think so. No, I will. God, I will. Obviously.
So the song Wildfire into Indonesian and back to English.
Yes.
I can never wake up. I need to talk. I do not want to grow up. Do not want to end. Caught in a landslide with another party. Live for salary. Die for weekend.
Yeah, that's me, baby.
That's so much better. Live for salary. Die for weekend.
Put that on a motherfucking patch.
That's so much tighter. Take another Xanax, having an affair with your girlfriend.
Oh, that's nice. Just the idea of like inside of your relationship, like it's basically the Kevin Smith tweet.
Right. That's so true. Take your last breath, count the time. That's us with Cali Deluxe.
Wow.
Don't tell me it's too late. I'm trapped at the gates of heaven. Hit the match and start the fire. I will have all my mistakes. Will not give you what you take. Seeing you burn in fire. This is so much better. They say I will never succeed.
Seeing me fall.
Oh, yeah,
the Matt Skiba parts.
All my time is in vain.
Learning to crawl.
From ash like this world collapsed. Like now they're D-beat lyrics.
Yeah, this is so sick.
Don't tell me it's too late. I'm trapped at the gates of heaven. Hit the match and start the fire. I will have all my mistakes. Will not give you what you take. Seeing you burn in fire.
Don't you feel like hit the match is sort of like pin the grenade? It feels like something that Mark would have written, and then we would have spent half an hour being like, has anyone ever said hit the match? This is fucking insane. It feels like a Blink lyric.
Do you think bands are doing this to make their lyrics a bit more obscure and like cool sounding? Because I think it's a good idea.
This is honestly really, yeah. Like I think we've cracked the code on like, you know, writing like mysterious guy hardcore lyrics. If that genre wants to sort of come back around again.
I'm still praying for a mysterious guy amazing core. It'll be so good.
Right.
Like lo-fi comeback kid.
Be the change you want to see in the world, Josiah. You're in a new city now. Maybe this can be like what you do with your new Montreal lifestyle.
Start a mysterious guy amazing core band. Maybe I will, but the thing is you'll never know it was me. Maybe I'll leave a little clue in there, but that's it.
Okay, cool.
We win this war. We curse and swear. They have no chance at all. Underdog, return. It's so good. Okay, here we go. There's a bit more. I do not forget. I do not forgive. I will never change the way I live. I always resist the urge to queue up. I I turned my back on all the rules. I will never heed the king of fools.
Are these the actual lyrics, or like did it translate it back so that they all rhyme? Oh, these are basically the lyrics. Jesus
some
Christ.
of those are in there. We never talked about King of Fools. I could have done a type 5 on the band Delirious, who had an album called King of Fools. Okay, I guess that's it. Is there more? No. Oh, okay. So weirdly, earlier on it says underdog return, but then at the end of the song it still says the underdogs go home instead of came home.
Oh, but the actual lyrics are the underdogs came home.
Either way, the Indonesian version that we've just created is the new definitive version of the song.
Absolutely. This is canon. This is canon. But sorry, I honestly thought when Rules and King of Fools rhymed, I was like, there is absolutely no way that these lyrics actually contain the phrase, I'll never heed the King of Fools. That must be a Google Translate thing. It's amazing that it rhymes. But no, I turned my back on all the rules. I'll never heed the King of Fools.
And then I'll never lead the perfect kind of life. That's definitely a Simple Plan lyric again.
Yeah. Are you sure Pierre didn't get like a co-writing credit on this?
Thank you for saying that in my native tongue.
Of course, man.
Appreciate it.
I can't wait to hang out with you in a year and you're like, putain.
Man, I don't think we're going to talk to each other in a year because we're not going to have a pod anymore.
Right. Oh, that's interesting.
So something I really love about this, like there's a lot of mixed feelings about this song, but something I really love about it is that a lot of people hate it, but then people love it and think it should have been on the original California album, of which there is only one song left to do also. So we're going to be saying goodbye to that one at some point. But some people think that Wildfire didn't make it on the original album because Blink-182 didn't feel comfortable putting a song called Wildfire on an album called California.
I mean, I did think we were going to have to get around to this eventually, but that's a stretch to call that a real theory. I was just like, damn, pretty on the fucking nose. Yeah, I think that's probably it. They felt like it was like pro-fire or something.
It is pro-fire. I mean, straight up, Matt Skiba is calling people to arms to strike matches and start wildfires around the globe.
Like, when did the fires start in California? Like,
I mean, probably I would say 200
decades.
BC.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I mean, it is just on fucking fire down there, right? Like it's
on
good.
fire right now. I'm wondering. Well, okay, 2018 wildfires. Those were the ones that were. Those were like the ones.
Those were the primo fires.
Everything since then has been kind of
I feel
living
like
the glory days of 2018.
I don't know. I feel like these fires are like coming for the crown.
That's true. The current ones.
Yeah.
But either way, when was Cali Deluxe? I mean, who knows? It's funny that we're getting stupider as this goes on, I think.
Yeah. I'm not shocked, actually.
I think, okay, so Deluxe was 2017? Was that right?
Yeah.
Because the regular one was 2016. Was it? Wait,
I mean,
I just noticed
this comment was posted 2 years ago, so it must have been out at least 2 years ago.
First of all, I want to say I'm looking at the California thing, and we definitely didn't talk about this, but Cynical is 1 minute and 55 seconds long.
How did that escape our otherwise sort of very attentive, brains? Jesus.
But these California wildfires from 2018, I mean, that was after this song came out. So all I'm trying to say is perhaps it actually is Matt Skiba's fault.
Wow. That's fucked. I buy it. I'm going to go ahead and declare we are laying the California wildfires at Matt Skiba's feet. You heard it here first. I look forward to being credited by any news organization that picks this up from here. And I will join your morning
What is this
show.
music that just started playing in the background?
I don't know.
Was that the TV? It sounded at first like a sort of beeping of a news broadcast. I thought you were like playing sound effects to go with your big.
I'm just like, here I go. I don't know.
So perhaps that's true, perhaps it's not. But I mean, I do like the idea that they were sort of like, oh man, I think we're crossing the line here if we call it California Wildfire.
Yeah, they're just too responsible.
But having said that, before we get to covers, I do want to play some. Wait, what am I doing? Am I in the wrong order? Yeah, whatever. I'll go back to this Blink song in a second. I do want to play. There's a couple songs that I found that are about the California wildfires. And just sort of songs in fires in general.
Wait, just songs about fires? Like, you're just going to play Prodigy now?
No, like in my searching, I sort of found some wildfire stuff that I thought would be worthy of playing. I'm going to start with the one about California. This is definitely the worst segue I've ever done. Like, I can't believe how good I set this up, and then I just fucked it up so badly. This is called California is on Fire. This is this California is on Fire music video dedicated to all 2018 and previous wildfire victims. So anyone who's ever been a victim of a wildfire, Jaco Beats with a Z has this song for you.
That's so kind.
I mean, it does feel like whenever there's a natural disaster, really everyone wants to get their songs out. You know, like the Calgary flood was a real bad time, particularly bad time for Calgary music, because everyone just had something to sing about it. And this is what Jaco Beats is doing here with California is on Fire. Just like a photo of someone's devastated home in the background.
I feel like I would have appreciated this. God, that house is so on fire. It's just a slow zoom.
Hey, California, no more fire, no more fire. Hey, California, no more fire, no more fire. Fire burned up my soul, it destroyed towns and homes, killed so many people, they didn't know which way to go.
Why am I seeing so many dead bodies this week?
Yeah, you're certain energy apparently on your computer.
It's mortality. It's just mortality week.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that helped put out the fires.
Yeah, if anyone listening to the pod is affected, hopefully that has sort of soothed
Jaco Beats. Hope that his heartfelt R&B tune sort of healed the wounds that the wildfires caused.
Yeah, have they tried just playing it, like playing that song at people or whatever?
At the fire?
Yeah.
Like just flying over with helicopters and playing Jaco Beats.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? It's not going to make the fires worse.
It honestly could. I don't know how the sound waves work.
Yeah, they just start reflecting, yeah.
While I was watching that, though, I was thinking, remember how good Burn to Shine was? Did you ever watch those DVDs?
No, I don't think so.
It was like the drummer of Fugazi would go to a different city and find a house that was about to burn down and then get 10 local bands to play there. What a like innocent time that was before there was like a million sessions on YouTube where it was fun to watch a band play and
what
then watch something burn.
Idea. Yeah.
So cool, man.
Wow.
I like the idea of just like, that was so cool. And then we just sit here in silence for a bit and reflect on it.
Just enjoy a cool thing, thinking of cool stuff.
So this song came up in my YouTube searching. This is a little bit more of a visual one than an audio one, but I still got to point it out. This is by Hillary Reese. This is the video for Wildfires. That is Hillary Reese's first original song that she released at 12 years old. This came out earlier this year, and I mean, it's like a country song basically, but skip around in this video. There's some incredible green screen going on throughout.
What the fuck?
This is like next level green screenery on here.
This is amazing.
It's so funny. I'm skipping ahead a bit, but like there's an entire cowboy village green screen. Somehow it all looks like those arcade games where you shoot at a cowboy, but it's like video version.
Yeah. Then she's like on an old-timey train.
But it's so somehow fake and real at the same time.
Yeah. This is amazing. I'm a big Hillary Reese fan.
Also, is she seriously 12? I feel like she seems like she's 40.
Yeah, that's not a 12-year-old. I don't understand how old anyone is, though.
She just got, like, shot out of this train, and everything's on fire.
Yeah, she's on a guitar that's on fire now.
It's so cool.
One of the like, main businesses in this town, like, if you go to, like, 253, so she's in this, like, old-timey Western town, and everything's on fire. But like it appears that the sort of centerpiece of the town is an apple peeler.
Yeah. So you think that it's a business that just peels apples for you?
Well, I don't know what else could it be, and why is it there?
Yeah, maybe she is 12 then. That is something a 12-year-old would dream of. Like,
what's the kind of business? An apple peeler?
Yeah, I mean, apple peeler store. I was thinking that it was maybe a saloon that was just happened to be called the Apple Peeler. It's also like that's not how you spell peel for peeling an apple, right? Is it? Isn't it P-E-E-L?
Yeah, it is P-E-E-L. Yeah, it's like a peeler bar. Maybe that's the joke.
What's the apple peelers? She went to the peelers.
Yeah, you know, just about me and Josiah just hit the town, went up to the peelers.
The apple peelers.
Yeah, I had a couple of crunchy
That's the misunderstanding.
ones.
I thought we were going to have some slices without that nasty peel, and you had ulterior motives.
Yeah, I'm just looking at photos of apple peelers because we're trying to see if this is like a reference to something we don't get. I'm just like, damn, imagine owning an apple peeler.
Okay, this is another thing that popped up. Again, incredible green screen. Fortunately for everyone else, the audio is just as good. This is a cover, but I don't know what it's a cover of. It says Wildfire cover. It's not the Blink song. This is by Richard Wilson, who is like...
He looks fake. Like he looks like a video game character.
Yeah, he looks like he's from like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, kind of like smoothness to him. But then there's like incredibly HD horse footage behind him as he sings. And this is what he sounds like. This is a gem here. I love YouTube so much.
This is a fucking great video. Like he truly like looks like a Grand Theft Auto character, and then behind him, like the green screen keeps glitching, but otherwise, yeah, he's in front of like really great stock footage of like now it's like a very busty woman feeding a horse a carrot, and he's just like swaying.
He's just swaying. He's just living in the moment.
We should all be a little more like Richard Wilson. I want to hear this voice though. Yes, yes.
On a dark black land she rides. On a home she ain't wildfire. With a world we might fly. On a cold and ragged night.
Sorry, I'm just getting lost in Richard Wilson's.
Well, yeah, I got some good news
entire vibe
about Richard Wilson, which is that like he's a believer. So,
heck
his most recent video from only a day ago, because he knew we were going to stumble into his world, is "Are there aliens? Here's the proof."
Oh, that kind of believer. I thought you meant I was going to be chilling with him at Heaven's Gate.
No, I mean maybe.
So yeah, he also has
like Tom should get at this man.
This is the kind of YouTube channel that I actually don't want to tell anyone about because it's so good. Like I feel like we're gentrifying this as we speak.
I know, because all the videos are like this kind of shit. This is fucking amazing.
My scientific ponderings on weather, spelled like the sky weather, are not there. My scientific ponderings on whether or not there are aliens on other worlds, and he's now in a house coat.
Flying saucers. Are they real? And the saucers, they got aliens. Look like this guy. Kind of ugly. Anyway, are they real? Nobody knows for sure. We'd have to find some proof. We haven't actually talked to any aliens. Hasn't none landed. You know, they're not talking to us over the radio. So we gotta look for proof. What are we looking for proof?
Okay, and like here's a video of him covering Rocket Man in like
that one was 15 minutes long, by the way.
Yeah, but like this is like him moving around various green screen Millennium Falcon sets. Like at one point, he's, like, sitting in the lounge where they like play the chess game.
She packed my bag last night.
Like just picture this again. This is like a very well lit. Like he's perfectly lit. Like so, this one's not quite as smooth as the other one, but he still looks like a little. There's like an uncanny valley to his appearance. He's missing a tooth or two.
This is the kind of channel that, in a year when all these videos are insanely viral, if someone was to show it to me then, I would think that it was fake or like some wannabe like Adult Swim person.
That's the thing. Yeah, it has that. This it's like Tim and Aaron.
It's
but
so perfect
real.
that it seems fake.
Yeah,
but it's like it's actually just perfect. And I might have to delete this whole section. I don't want anyone to know about this. But
you got it. Yeah, we are gentrifying this channel. You're right. It's the only way to.
This is next, there's going to be a fucking This Exists episode about it.
I'm bringing it back just for this man.
So, anyways, I love that guy. I feel like I've eaten up too much time, so I'm gonna. There's a Marianas Trench song called Wildfire, but we've eaten up a lot of time, so I'm just gonna play the Nightcore version so we can get through it a bit quicker. If that's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Just sounds like King of Pain at that. Like, there's a little black spot on the sun today.
Oh, that sounds good.
But I never thought we would be here again. You say that you lost and need to find.
This is from a Marianas Trench album called Astoria.
Yeah.
You know this album?
Yeah, I think this is the most recent one.
The cover is so bad.
Well, it's like the Goonies art, right?
Yeah, but like it looks like a deviant art, like Manip.
Right. Listen, I will never speak ill of my boys in the Trench. I think they're a real great band.
Oh, are you friends with them?
No, but I've interviewed them like enough times, all centered around the Junos, that I like do genuinely like them. And I think like honestly, they have some super sick songs. Like Celebrity. Wait, is Celebrity Status them or is that? I think that's them, right?
Marianas Trench is from Vancouver too, and that's cool. I mean, it is Vancouver week, so
yeah. No, Celebrity Status is a sick Marianas Trench song, and then the other one that's like step one, step two. What is that one? Hold on. That song is that's Celebrity Status too. Okay, so like they're like a good pop band, like a genuinely good pop band. I mean, that guy wrote "Call Me Maybe," so like they got hooks. But no, I'm not like friends with them. I actually do kind of like them because I think they're kind of nutty. And
Call Me Maybe is kind of, I mean, it's kind of like he's hedging, you know. Make a song called Call Me, and then it'll be better.
That'd be way better. I mean, Call Me is, I guess, the better song, but
yeah. I mean, not to tell anyone how to do their job, but
no.
as a copywriter, I think you want to be more direct.
Maybe we should try to get Marianas Trench on the pod just to really hone in on the Canadian side. But then we'd also get all their fans, the Trenchers, to listen.
Why aren't they called the Marionators or something?
I don't know, man. I don't make up fandom names.
Wow, he went to the same high school as Carrie Ann Moss. That's pretty cool. I also think that the guy from Marianas Trench went to the same high school as the singer of Go It Alone. I heard someone told me that once, but I don't know if it's true or not.
What a musical high school.
Okay, what am I about to paste? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, so I mean, our pod is dying officially at this point. I mean, it's safe to say that we're on our last. It's kind of like we have to do our bucket list in the next year.
Yeah, but I think it's like death is what gives life meaning, and so that is always what has given the pod its purpose.
I always thought pods are what gave life meaning. But,
yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if this is people from the nation or what, but I did find another Blink-182 podcast sort of to help us ease the pain. Yeah, so this podcast is called the Gender Neutral Podcast by Jules Finlay from Australia. And that name looks familiar to me, so I'm wondering if that's someone in the nation. But looking through their page, they've got an intro. They've done I don't know. They don't title their episodes after songs, but they do have an episode called The Wildfire at Work, and it's 27 minutes long about the new song Wildfire, so I thought we could listen to the whole thing right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I do love those drums, though. They're so stupid.
It's fucking awesome.
Dun, dun. That lead is so bad. It sounds like Matt Skiba's playing Guitar Hero.
It also doesn't sound like any other Blink or Alkaline Trio thing, which sort of makes me wonder if he even played it. Just so outside of
just kind of a drag and drop stock thing.
Podcast. Hello, everybody. How are you? Today on the show, we're going to talk about Blink-182's new song "Wildfire." That was released 2 days ago.
Yep, and it's going to be a blast. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this podcast is going to be a hell of a ride. Really, tell you. Really fun.
We're also going to talk about what we've been up to this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Wildfire, man. What did you think of the song, Ben?
I fucking loved it, man. This is one of my favorite Blink-182 songs, actually. This is pretty damn good. I mean, it just has everything it has all the elements that I think make a good song. I don't know what it is about it. I mean, I know what it is about it, but damn, they did a fucking good... Sorry for swearing, guys. They did a good job on that.
So one thing Ben told me about it when I asked him straight after he listened to it, he's like, dude, I was smiling through the whole thing.
Literally, I was laying on the couch. I was babysitting my nephew, and I was laying on the couch. Julian,
this is what our pod sounds like, right?
At the time, it hadn't been posted on YouTube yet.
I think when people listen to it on slowed down, then it gets a bit more Australian sounding. Kind of just
yeah.
And then I'll listen to it.
Damn, I love the General Neutral podcast. Do you think those guys are they're just from Australia. We can't see if they're how close they are to Wodonga. Maybe the other guy, Jules, we don't know the name of the second guy. Maybe it's Mitty.
Yeah, I'm just gonna type. Do you know Maddie? I'm logged in with my personal SoundCloud right now.
And you're just gonna say, "Do you know Maddie Rendell?"
Yeah, so I've done that. So we'll get to the bottom of that. We got to start some new narrative threads just to make this last year on Earth interesting.
It's true. Yeah, we got to just put some new cast.
Exactly.
We got to bring in someone's got to have a kid. I guess that's Jesus Christ. We've been talking about kids. That's what's happened.
I think there's been at least 3 kids born within the nation. None of them have been named after us.
Conceived to the pod, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're all accidental pregnancies because just got too excited. You're supposed to pull out, but just got way too excited from the banter. One thing we haven't done enough of
just kill me dance. That's kill me gigglers.
We haven't talked enough about
the lyric videos.
Not even the lyric video, just track reviews here. I mean, we did a exclusive about YouTube reviews that you probably don't even know exist because the exclusives just happen while you're taking meetings or whatever.
What?
But there is exclusive about teen YouTube reviewers of Blink-182 albums. However, on the main feed, we haven't talked enough about it. So I thought, let's talk about this guy, Daniel Forey. And he's done a review of the song Wildfire.
Well, it's the song we're talking about this week.
Well, that's why I thought it would make so much sense if I hit play.
I agree.
So should I?
No, you should. You should definitely. I just want to sort of
They've done it.
look at him.
Blink-182, or specifically Matt, I think, has written a fun-ass early 2000s, late 90s pop-punk riff for a Blink song that's not just a joke song, because Bohemian Rhapsody obviously has this really fun riff, but it's only 20 seconds. But this song, fun riff, and it's a long song. I'm so excited right now. I listened to it and I was just from the first 10 seconds, I was like, this is going to be amazing. And it manages to sound like it's straight out of Enema of the State, art trying too hard to fit the Enema style. I felt she's out of her mind did. So I'm really stoked. I think you guys will really enjoy this song. Matt and Mark trade vocals. Mark starts, but they do change throughout the song. And my favorite part is actually the end where they sing over each other and it overlaps, kind of like Feeling This, I guess you could say, although it's only 2 vocals. We're Feeling This, I think, was 3. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I just think the lyrics come across as really genuine and authentic and sweet without sounding like it's forced at all. So it's really just like a fun song to listen to, and like the lyrics aren't like necessarily just like fun, like they are kind of serious, but it's just really like an easy to sing song. In the intro, Travis has stuff.
He keeps going for another whole minute. I think there's a gas leak in there. Doing this from.
I couldn't really hear anything over the accent.
I was trying to figure out how to turn on the closed captioning on YouTube, because that does exist, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. They auto-generate it. And I mean, I guess you can edit it, but a great opportunity for comedy, truly.
I've given Mike Bullard a lot of shit for making fun of people's accents when he does crowd work, but I'm starting to side with Mike here, because I just think, I mean...
The South African accent you're allowed to make fun of, though, because it's a historically racist accent.
Exactly.
Like, very little good has been done in the world with a South African accent.
Other than, of course, this video.
Right, yeah. So listen, I don't want to sort of judge, what's his name, Doug Flutie? What the fuck was his name?
Daniel Forey.
Yeah, Daniel Forey by the sins of his forefathers, but like, I'm still allowed to dunk on the accent. Like, that's the rules.
Someone has commented South Africa accent, and then Daniel Forey's reply was, "Aw." Like, what? And someone else wrote, "This sounds nothing like Enema," and I do agree. I mean, Daniel Forey, I think you've got your. I don't know. Well, I don't think South Africa it sounds like down under.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like if Enema and California, met
had a baby
on a dating app, and initially one of them ghosted the other, but
you know what I think it sounds like. It sounds like they took California, the album, and then they gave it an actual enema, and all of the long lost like corn kernels and bits of lettuce and half formed turds that were hidden inside the colon fell out. Jesus and that's what Wildfire sounds like.
Have you ever had an enema?
Yeah, I did once like a long time ago, because I used to try to do cleanses sometimes.
Oh shit!
Like,
you were trying to figure out like why you felt bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
I did have one, but it was like, I don't know. You didn't really, after they get it up there, it's kind of, you don't really notice. But have you?
No, I feel like I'm super excited to. I hope it happens at some point during the pod, because I feel like if I have an enema in a year and a half, I'm going to be very frustrated by like just like we'll have to start it as like again. Wasted content,
Well, it literally is wasted content that comes out.
Holy shit! And that's why it's a shame that the pod is coming to an end.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to stop plugging in the Covers theme song, because it was fun while it lasted, but it's just it's another step.
Well, you just got to think about what time this is.
Yeah, I mean, just pretend it's in here. Covers.
Is that how it sounds?
Listening to Covers. You've never even heard it.
No, of course not.
The one time when I tricked you, it was Donald Trump saying he wanted to build the wall and make Mexico pay for it. And then you were like, yes.
Well, I mean, I think it makes more sense than asking the American taxpayers to pay for it, so I don't disagree.
Right, and building, I mean, it's a make-work project.
That's
too,
it,
so.
Infrastructure projects,
You guys want jobs or not?
I know, yeah. I think people are really trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Oh my God! I just realized something. Okay, now you got to vamp for a second.
Okay,
I just realized something so good.
Now I have to talk about Trump. I'm running to things. So I guess we can't talk about our California Deluxe thoughts yet, but it is like, how long have we been doing this pod for? Like, I guess it has been like three or 4 or 5 or 6 years. But like, truly, the idea of only having a year left is messing me up, and the idea of saying goodbye to California Deluxe is also really messing me up. But we got to get some good guests. We're gonna have some great guests coming in. We've been on the chat, in the DMs, trying to get all the hits that you know and love, pulling in those favors from the people that told us they would do it and then ghosted us, or just like we're busy, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But all of the chickens are coming home to roost over the next year for anyone who's avoided the invitation on the show before.
I would love to. I would love to pretend that I need you to vamp and then actually not. Like, I'm just sitting here listening.
Yeah, just enjoying.
I feel like there's a bit of a lag, but I'm hoping this will work. I was just pulling up the Indonesian to English lyrics again because the first cover I've written down is actually just a straight up instrumental of the song. And so I was really hoping that you, Sam, could sing these lyrics over top of this. This is by Maurice D, and it's a perfect instrumental of the song. So if I hit play, can you just sing some of the Indonesian lyrics over top?
I'm just trying to remember how it starts because I admittedly have not listened to this song that much.
Okay, I'll help you. We'll do it together.
Okay, yeah, you started off. Okay,
I'll do the first line, and then I'm gonna do "I Can Never Wake Up." Okay,
okay, great.
So maybe. Okay, whatever. Let's just go for it.
Oh, it's good. This is just an original cover, but just a very straight instrumental. I'm really starting to think it's pretty good.
I can never wake up. I need to talk. I do not want to grow up. Do not want to end.
Got me to inside
another party. Live for salary, die for a weekend. Take another Xanax. Having an affair with your girlfriend. Take your last breath. Count the time. Okay, do this part. It's too late. I'm trapped at the gates of heaven. Hit the match and start the fire. I will have all my mistakes. Will not give you what you take. Seeing you burn in fire. Okay, I've listened to it more times than
you apparently have. Like I realized, I was like, oh, wire. That's all I knew. I was like, the rest of it, I have no fucking idea, man.
Well, I think that instrumental really worked with the Indonesian English lyrics.
You killed it, man. That was amazing.
This might be our worst episode.
No. That was definitely like an important moment in pod history, I think. What is this?
So we don't play enough of these drum covers because they're usually just pretty boring, but this guy looks like Colin Farrell a lot.
Yeah.
And his name is Harry Murray. Like Miree.
The Penguin himself. He's making so much drummer face in this video.
He's making so much drummer face. He like clearly has some product in his hair. Like he looks like he's in a oh fuck. I had a hair product name that would have been funny to say, but I lost it. But he looks like he has like perfectly mussed hair from like a 90s magazine ad. And then he's wearing a V-neck with a blazer. It's not t-shirt and blazer like Titus Andronicus fan type t-shirt and blazer look. It's V-neck and blazer. Like this is
a
man
whole other thing, yeah.
Yeah, this is like it looks like he's a game day NHL player.
Yeah. Also, like the video starts and you get him hitting the drums, looking ludicrous, and then dudes, and then that goes away. Like dudes, and then this is Wildfire by Blink-182. But the fact that even like the first title you get is dudes.
Well, there's also a cowbell to start. More cowbell. Dudes, this is Wildfire. He has a strong Kendall Roy energy.
Yeah. This guy's definitely tried his hand in some like raps to get his father to love him before.
I love that like everyone in his office and his wife thinks that he's out for a business lunch right now, but he actually just came home to like blast out this video.
Yeah. It's also like there's like the sort of black curtain behind him too, which is very strange because he's clearly in his house. Like this is obviously a home, but he set up a janky curtain.
I just cannot emphasize how much you need to see what this guy looks like.
He has frosted tips, right?
I think so. Oh, Bedhead. That's the product that I think he's wearing in his hair.
And he's got in-ear monitors and stuff, obviously.
He's like sick at drumming, but
he's really
somehow
good.
It doesn't really matter.
Also, like
I feel like he's trying to sell me a house.
I feel like these are two performances cut together because there's one where all of the cameras are completely locked off, and then there's like a separate ones where there's definitely a person filming him.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
faces.
True. Unless they're just editing out the I mean, maybe in post they spent a lot of time editing around
scoping out the.
So that's Harry Murray and his prof pic. Oh wait, if you go to his page, this is only 30 seconds. This is a dude announcement. So let's hear what he. Hello, my dudes. Let's maketh the drum noises again.
Sick.
He reminds me of one of the guys in Nickelback who's named like Ryan or whatever. You know how like everyone other than Chad is named Ryan?
Yeah. That's their whole vibe.
So that was the business casual drummer that I really loved.
Okay, sick.
Now, if you don't love the song yet, I think you're gonna fucking love it when you see this kid, because this is just like. This is who this song is for. It's just like a kid named Matty, Mattii Rodriguez. I believe this is in Spanish underneath. Please don't say Mexican.
I believe, no, this is definitely, hola, yeah, that's Mexican.
Spanish.
What?
I think you mean to say Spanish.
I don't think so.
So he's doing the cover in his backyard, playing every instrument, pantomiming, just having the fucking time of his life.
Yeah, this is just a kid having a great day. Great air drumming, too.
He even changed shirts between instruments. He's got a Hurley shirt.
Like, this is not a cover. This is literally just like...
I wonder if he's using that instrumental that we also use.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because he sings.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of amazed that you knew the melody to the song so well. Because it's like not simple.
I think when it first came out, I would listen to it a few times too.
Yeah.
There is something about it that I like. I think it's just because I have such bad ADD now that I like how there's like 20 things happening at once.
I need parts.
This part with the octave chords I don't like though. This sounds like 4 Year Strong or something, but like not in a good way. It sounds like the band All Time Low or whatever.
But like, just watching him have so much fun is so nice.
I love that whenever I see any like teen YouTuber music fan, they're always wearing a music festival bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I mean, I feel like you probably do that too.
Well, yeah, and I keep them on, and like, it's you just want people to know.
I made a joke on the pod account, but I think that it bears repeating in case people missed it. But I think next year if someone says they're going to Fest or they talk about Fest, you should always reply with, which one? Just pretend that you...
Yo, I don't know if you got...
As much as possible, endlessly, just say, oh yeah, which one?
So go to like 210, just because there's definitely like, starting at some point, like... someone else who lives in this house is also using the backyard to like have a smoke or whatever. And so like there's all these jump cuts and then just periodically there's just like a guy smoking in the background now. Like who's clearly maybe like a relative, like got to be 20 years old.
Okay, wait. Also check out like 220 let me see. 225 to 228. Look at the chair in the background on the right. There's a chair that disappears.
Oh, what?
Oh, I know why. Because he's sitting on it to
drum. The drumming chair. It keeps disappearing and reappearing. Well, a lot of great Easter eggs in this video.
This is truly...
a lot to enjoy.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so shout out to Matty Rodriguez for just making me feel something again. You should... I think it'd be cool if, like, Urban Outfitters or somewhere sold festival bracelets that you could just wear.
Oh, shit.
So it seems like you went... That'd be cool.
That's got to be a thing. Yeah, fake festival wristbands. Here we go.
Really? Is it?
Well, I guess this is also... No, this is probably about, like, sneaking into stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not cool. You got to pay your creators.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even
respect
say it
the corporations
laughing.
that book shows, because apparently they're all full of really good people.
Yeah, true. And you know who else is Media Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's a bunch of acoustic ones because as soon as Blink-182 releases a new song, everyone just wants to go all acoustic on it. I'm only going to play 2. This is Nawi Message. Do you think that this person's actual last name is Message, or do you think that it's their screen name? That's like a really good screen name. To have Message as the last name?
Yeah, that's cool.
There's an unboxing video on here. I mean, Nawi Message is...
I mean, I guess it was a last name, because it's a description of a job, right? Messenger.
Right.
I don't fucking know. I've never met anyone with that name.
Well, Nawi Message is from Indonesia, so that's already last name Message. You live in Indonesia, you're cool as fuck in my books. So here's an acoustic cover of Wildfire.
I need to speak up, I don't wanna grow up, don't wanna end up down in a landslide with the other side. Looking for the paycheck, dying for the weekend, take another Xanax, cheating on your girlfriend, taking your last breath, counting down the time. Don't tell me it's too late, I'm stuck at heaven gate. Strike a match and start the wildfire.
So good. I love it. And I love that Nawi Message is wearing a t-shirt that instead of saying impossible, it says I'm possible.
Nawi Message spreading that positive message.
It's such a positive message that doesn't make any sense at all. What does it even mean? I'm possible. I mean, if you exist, you are possible.
It's that feels like some aspirational, like just some like sort
of. What are you aspiring to?
Positive.
Existing is if you exist, you're obviously possible because a human being is possible if they exist.
Exactly, and I think that's it.
They already exist, so merely existing is all you were ever striving for.
But isn't that like a miracle in and of itself? People existing, Josiah.
I guess, but that you're going to end there. That's it. Like you're just that's like, I exist. That's all I've.
Well, what else do you want?
For.
Like besides the miracle of fucking life.
You're always going off about miracles with me.
I believe.
You're always trying to make me watch God's Not Dead.
yeah. We're going to make you watch God Friended Me. That's going to be the next pod. Every episode of God Friended Me.
Okay, I bet you anything that there's like 100 of that idea for a pod.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, speaking of people who have friended me, I am friends with Lucas D on Facebook, and no, we never talk. And you know what? That's fine. I'm just happy to have him on that list. When people see, recently there was a lot of talk about who when something bad happens to someone, people look at who they're friends with, and they say, it might just be someone you became friends with through like networking or through whatever, trying to get guest lists or some shit like that. But if you're still friends with them on Facebook, that's a bad look. So now I'm more focused on the good look. I'm positive thinking. And my Facebook friend list does not have some of the recently canceled people on it, but it does have Lucas D. So I think that's important.
It's important positioning for you, for sure.
It's a long diatribe that is only for you to understand.
Yeah, thanks, man. But, and also directed at me. I think I might still be friends with the recently canceled person.
Yeah, yourself.
Oh, wow. That was really turned things around on me there.
Oh, Lucas D is so cool. He has like a ship on a coffee table.
I could never own up, I need to speak up, I don't want to grow up, don't want to end up caught in a landslide with the other side. Living for the paycheck, dying for the weekend, taking another Xanax, cheating on your girlfriend, taking your last breath, counting down the time. Don't tell me it's too late, I'm stuck at heaven's gate. Strike a match and start a wildfire.
beautiful.
What
I love
enunciation. Like, just incredible enunciation.
It's so crystal clear. And I realized that his the decor of Lucas D's extremely European home always makes me think of the decor on the TV show Clown. Did you ever see that? Like KLOVN?
No.
There were some movies of it as well. It's like, I think it's Danish. It's basically like a Danish ripoff of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it's so fucking funny. But it's just so European too, and all the houses look exactly like this. Sick. So imagine like Danish Curb Your Enthusiasm in a house that looks like Lucas D's house.
I mean, I'm sold. This is like going to be the next thing that my next binge, baby.
All right, I got one cover left. How are you feeling about the song right now?
So this is the last cover.
Oh my God, don't say that. Come on.
For the last Cali Deluxe song.
And you know what makes it feel even more heartbreaking is that it's 1 minute and 56 seconds.
Oh, fucked it up so bad. Dario Gillespie, you fuck.
Oh,
so how am I feeling about the song right now? I love it, and I'm embarrassed that you knew the melody and I didn't, because now I'm going to listen to it a lot. And if we did this episode in a month, I'd be ready to go.
Well, maybe we will, because I don't want the pod to end.
Right, so we're going to start repeating things like very soon.
Yeah. Okay, so this last one, Wildfire by Blink-182 on guitar, and then in brackets it's kind of like the To Study and Chill To, but it says emotional ambient version.
Oh, yes.
So
I am ready to study to these lo-fi beats.
So, I mean, I love that. I love that Dario Gillespie is beside a metal shelf that's just ram-packed with loose leaf paper. That's already not making me feel very emotional or ambient. I don't feel very chill at all. But then
not starting off right.
So say you're like, okay, I'm ready to soak in the tub. I'm ready to soak. I'm going to chill, put on this ambient chill music, and then the video starts like this.
Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to play Wildfire by Blink-182 entirely on my guitar. If you like this video, as always, please subscribe. I wanna get laid with you.
What?
Not very emotional or ambient, but then luckily... Friday Night Lights score that I think I'm going to leave it on in the background while we say goodbye to California Deluxe.
Fuck, man. All right, well, Josiah, what are your final thoughts on the final song of California Deluxe, Wildfire by the band Blink-182?
I will say this sincerely. It's really interesting and fun to do a project like this while also digging through like the scrap heap of a band. Like if we would... If you do something like this and you only are talking about like the good stuff, it's not the same. But I like California Deluxe because it's like just more shit to help us try to understand this band. So I'm gonna miss it. I hope that they release all of the like demos and shit from 9.
God.
And I think this song's really good. And I think also I'm starting to like feel a fondness for California era that I didn't before.
Yeah.
The video just ended right there. Now you don't get background music.
Oh, so I just got to sit out here naked and just say, it's good.
Well, yeah. No, you give your final thoughts on California Deluxe, too.
I mean, more than any aspect of this project was dreading having to do these songs because as was obvious today and sort of throughout our conversations about all of them, like I didn't spend any time with them because I thought they were shitty. And I think for the most part I was right, but again, one of the interesting things about a project like this is like really being forced to like revisit and consider them, and also like consider them in this sort of wider context that, you know, we've always been aware of, but that, you know, we have obviously sort of like now dedicated years of our lives to kind of trying to really map out. And so to have that opportunity to like engage with them and try to understand what this band was like trying to do in that moment, especially at a time that was like so critical to the kind of future of the band, like that this is like two guys in particular, like trying to understand what their job is going to be for the rest of their lives. And so getting a glimpse into it, and I come back to the Bottom of the Ocean episode, which I think was like when this really like was blown open for me. And I feel so fucking stupid because I've done this twice where I can't remember the name of the guest who's the co-writer of that song.
I also forget at this point.
Fuck, terrible. But it doesn't matter. The point is, like, you know, she was telling us about why she likes the idea of California Deluxe, and we had only shit on
Simon Wilcox.
Thank you so much, Simon Wilcox. Thank you so much.
Say there was a skip. Sam did say that because he remembered.
I did. And then you said it at the same time as well. We were like, but she was like, no, this is a band like opening up their process to us. And there's a lot of like cynical ways to view this record in this like this version of the album, which I mostly subscribe to. But I think like this has given me a kind of distinct appreciation for what they were working through and what they were sort of trying to express. But mostly I think kind of like what they were trying to achieve, like from a kind of like commercial and like longevity standpoint. And so like that's been really, really interesting. And then this song fucking rocks. Like what the fuck?
Okay, well, before we get, I actually want to say one thing about our guests too. So goodbye, California Deluxe. We will miss you for all you've done, good and bad to us. But this week we've got Giles from Woolworm, and I meant to talk about this with him, but I forgot to. But so I think, other than perhaps the audio doctor from the Loudness Wars exclusives, I think perhaps one of the more divisive guests we've had on the show lately is Theo from Gob. And like I said, I've made a primer on Gob if you want to get into Gob, because they are incredible. But Theo, I think, was one of the more divisive guests that we've had recently.
How?
Well, I don't think you've listened to it.
No.
But, I mean, he's like stuck in traffic and he's honking. He didn't answer any of my questions. He just kind of like talked over me the whole time. I thought it was great.
So good.
Numerous people have told me they couldn't finish that episode. And you know what? That's fine. Thank you for even trying.
Yeah, that's still pretty astonishing.
The lead up to the Gob interview was no different. So, I guess 2 months ago, Woolworm was here, and they played the Mint Records party here in Montreal. And so Sarah and I went, and we were just kind of hanging out. And then as soon as Woolworm started playing, like I had spent 2 nights in a row, like waiting around for Theo because I was so excited to get Theo on. And he didn't say, I can't do it tonight. He said, I'm just going to be a couple more hours because we're in the studio. They were trying to get this cover of a Platinum Blonde song done with his new band, Theo and the Thugs, because he wanted to premiere it on the pod. And so he was like, there's just a couple hours left in the studio. And I'm like, okay. And then he just like didn't write me back for like 6 hours. So I was going to go to a movie, but I just like stayed home just in case Theo would get in touch because I didn't want to. I just had a feeling that Theo would be the hardest one to get. And he really was.
Yeah.
And so he kept like flaking on me so much, and then finally, like right before Woolworm, I talked to him, and I was so excited. And then we went down to the show, and he was like, "Okay, I'm going to send you the Platinum Blonde cover that we did, so you can plug it in to the episode." And then, like, of course, he didn't ever send it to me. And then, like during Woolworm, and it was like we were pretty close to the front, and I mean, there was like a scheduling mishap. So they were playing earlier than they were supposed to. So it wasn't like super packed. So it was like pretty obvious that I was on my phone a bunch during their set because Theo was like, I'm getting really fucked over by my mastering guy. I'm telling you, he said it'd be here today and it's not here. I'm so sorry, man. And then I'm like, it's fine. No, don't worry about it. Like, we'll just link to your song when it comes out. Don't worry about it. And then he started like sending me all of these screenshots of text messages with his mastering guy. While I was like watching Woolworm, my phone was like going off like crazy.
I like that Theo wanted you to know that he wasn't like fucking with you.
Yeah, he's like, I have receipts, basically. I mean, he didn't use that slang, but... And then, as I was walking home from Woolworm, he's like... Because this was the Thursday night before the pod came on, it was like, it was 11:30 p.m. and he's like, "You're not going to believe this. The mastering guy canceled his plans tonight so that he could go back into the studio and master the tracks. I'm not sure if it's too late, but I just got the track." And I saw it like 10 minutes after he sent it while I was walking home because I was trying to watch some of Woolworm and not talk to Theo from Gob. and then I like replied to him and I'm like, "Sick, that's awesome. I'm going to be home soon and there's definitely time for me to still plug it in. So just go ahead and do that." And then he just never wrote me back. So that's just another beautiful Vancouver thing. But anyways, here's Giles from Woolworm.
Hey, California, no more fire, no more fire. Hey, California, no more fire, no more fire. Fire.
I was about to just say, "Oh," like the name of your new album.
Oh yeah.
So we got Giles Roy here from Woolworm, one of my favorite rock bands ever, I think. What's up, Giles?
What's up? How are you? I'm good. Thank you.
You're just gonna
to be here.
have the whole conversation by yourself. I like it. Makes my job easy.
Yeah. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good. The first thing I want to get out of the way right off the bat here, I don't want to be too Vancouver-centric, but my first question for you is Blue Monday or Go It Alone?
Ooh, that's a toughie. I got to say Go It Alone. I mean, we've covered them twice. Actually, I think we covered them twice. We might go for a third one. I don't know. Blue Monday's cool. Obviously, both bands had some funny things about them and some really good things.
Yeah.
That's a tough call. I wasn't expecting that.
I was just thinking I'd throw you a curveball right off the bat here.
Well, I'll say at the time I preferred Blue Monday, and now I prefer Go It Alone.
My answer is Reserve 34, actually. That's sort of the wild card answer. Okay, so yeah, no more plugging the Sealand Hall hardcore scene until the end of the show.
Okay,
but let's get into it. I mean, what's up? Where are you at right now in your life with? I mean, I'm glad to be talking to you about new Blink-182 because I know that you fuck with the back and you fuck with, I mean, you guys are not.
Oh, you mean Nickelback?
Yeah, you're not driving around listening to snooty music all the time. You know what's up.
I seldom listen to snooty music. Yeah, I think you and I have very similar taste in music, in that we both like a lot of bullshit.
just hot garbage. And I think that's why every time I try to recommend the few things that I actually truly genuinely love, Woolworm being one of them, whenever I try to recommend it, people just don't believe me or they don't listen to me because I've really
it is really nice of you to recommend us all the time, but
my status I don't
think it's working.
My status as an influencer has been destroyed because I'm also usually just recommending sub 10 view YouTube videos and stuff.
Well, I mean, that's fine, whatever. Like, if you like bad music, you're also welcome to listen to Woolworm, whoever you are listening to this. Obviously, your taste isn't that great. If you're listening to this. No, I'm kidding, Josiah, relax.
Oh, yeah, that is true. I mean, no, you can insult these people as much as you want, and they'll just keep coming back for more. That's definitely true.
Oh, no, I do love these people.
I'm so glad.
I love all y'all. Bill Billingsley, is he still around?
He's kind of like Bill Billingsley has kind of faded a little bit, and I think we're all. I think us and Bill Billingsley, we're all kind of just appreciating our own space right now. But
I see. Okay.
I'm sure he'll loop around and come back. But anyways, I mean, we've bonded over some Nickelback talk. I know that you guys fuck with like bad pop music, and stuff like that. But I feel like probably, and we're not even talking about the newest Blink album this week, but probably this is, I'm guessing, really disgusting sounding music to you.
The song that you made me listen to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't disgusted. I wasn't repulsed or anything. I thought it was very funny. And I mean, it is funny. It's just a funny ass song. And I like that. I like funny stuff. Like it was funnier than I don't know. It's like it's what did you already talked about the song, right? You already spent an hour with it.
In terms of the listener's experience, yes. In terms of real life right now at this time, no.
I mean, you already recorded the pod.
We have not. We're going in with Giles first, so it's like I got to sort of anticipate what I've already said, so as to not repeat myself. But
okay,
I will say that this is a song by the band Blink-182. I don't think I've said that yet at this point.
I am curious as to where this... I mean, you listen to way more Blink-182 you have to listen to more Blink-182 than I do. So I'm curious where this falls on the spectrum for you.
Well, how about... actually, I don't completely hate it, but I think... you say we have similar...
It's so fucking funny. It's so funny. As soon as it started up, I was laughing. Like the Power Rangers riff right at the beginning.
I do want to say, I don't want to be like rude. I don't mean this in a rude way, but something about the structure at the start did make me think of, is it called Morbid Obsession? By Woolworm? Okay. Like the way that it has the sort of like switching back and forth of tempos and speeds. I was like, oh... This is good happenstance that I picked this song for Giles.
Yeah, I mean, when I was listening to it too, I was like, oh, does he hear Woolworm in this song? And again, I can't be mad if you do, no problem. Like, there's probably worse ingredients in the Woolworm recipe, than
I don't hear Woolworm in this song, but I actually don't really hear Woolworm in any Blink song. So let's rewind and talk about that. I mean,
sure.
I guess. Starting off, what is your kind of... I know that you're a fucking corpsman, true till death, but I'm curious, what's your pop-punk experience been like?
I would say I got into pop-punk, like, after hardcore. Okay, you remember, like, 2000, I want to say 7? There was, like, a huge influx of hardcore-influenced pop-punk bands.
Like Daggermouth or something?
That exact type of music,
Sinking Ships, is that one?
I believe they were under the umbrella of Amazing Core, but
okay, fair. But that's the thing, right? Like Amazing Core is was Amazing Core a gateway to pop punk or vice versa? I don't know, but it is
for me. In general, who's to say? Mm-hmm. But for me, Amazing Core was 100% a gateway to pop punk because I didn't really fuck with it until I don't know. It was almost like the fact that it was being made by these jocks made it okay. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so many horrible bands that I cannot listen to. And I'm not going to name any of them, but like I listened to them all for like a brief window in about 2007.
Right.
The funniest one, I will say, is, do you remember Set Your Goals?
Yeah, of course.
Like Set Your Goals came and played in Vancouver in that year, and like I don't think I'd even heard them before, but people were going crazy. Like all these like 100 Demons ass gym short guys were like climbing on each other. It was bonkers. It was like one of the like most outrageous sets I'd ever seen by a band. And after that, like we all listened to Set Your Goals for a while. And by we all, I mean like my immediate circle all kind of fucked with it. But that shit is so funny. Like I mean,
well, okay.
It's like, you are my best friend and I love you.
But I mean, then how did you even get into hardcore? Like, I don't even understand how you got into hardcore. I got,
like all backwards. I wasn't into it in like high school or anything. I was like anti-hardcore, and then I don't know. There was like a really good show at Sealand one time, and I recognized the band names, so I went. It was pretty nuts. It was Blue Monday, Strain. I don't know, bands like that.
So then what were you listening to in high school? I mean, similarly, I will say my experience with music has also been very backwards in that I'm getting, I think it's even more backwards than yours. Cause my first band when I was like 13, we were trying to be Godspeed You Black Emperor. And then as I've gotten older, I've just gotten into stupider and stupider and stupider things. So I think
I always liked stupid things, but it sort of, it took a while for me to want to make stupid music.
Right.
Which is where I'm at now.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't see what you're making as stupid now, but
thanks.
No, that's an insult from me, actually. But what were you listening to in high school?
It was almost like a different thing every grade, you know. But let's go backwards from hardcore, because I remember getting into hardcore at the end of high school. So before that, I was 100%, and this is more embarrassing for me to admit than any of the other stuff. But I think you already know that I was like a little like screamo guy.
Oh,
I was just this little screamo guy.
Okay.
Wearing like really tight pants and shit.
Jelly bracelets?
No, I was never that far. I was never like seen.
But we're talking like Orchid. Oh yeah, because you like Mount Erie, and there's a specific kind of guy that likes Orchid and Mount Erie as like an identity.
I mean, I don't think I've listened to Orchid since, but I remember downloading that shit on Napster and like being, I don't know, I was like a snob, you know? That's a specific type of screamo person.
Absolutely. I think
I've listened to screamo since. I've been very anti all forms of emo, as you know.
Yeah, but I know. I thought about getting you on one of the emo episodes just to really piss you off.
Well, thank you for the Power Rangers song.
Yeah. But okay, so I mean,
I'm sorry.
That's amazing. You went from being an Orchid guy into like dumb hardcore. So, okay, before you were, and the other thing, I mean, there's so many, my brain is going crazy right now. I want to go in so many directions at once, but.
Me too. I'm tingling.
This is so electric. I also feel like this is the longest we've ever actually spoken before, because I am truly not your friend. I'm a fan of your music. And so we don't ever, like, we talk briefly at shows here and there, but we never really shoot the shit about, screamo. And
well, I think if you and I lived in the same city, we'd be better friends. But also, Josiah, you are my friend.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, but before screamo was like AFI. I was a huge AFI guy, and I mean, I still am down with AFI in so many ways. But you know how that shit's just like so theatrical, and like woe is me and like goth and shit. I don't know. That's what I liked about it.
So it's less because I mean, isn't AFI technically pop punk still?
I would call it like rock. I mean, whatever like My Chemical Romance is, I just call it like theatrical ass high school rock.
Right.
Like AFI was huge for me. I can't even overstate how much I liked them. I was a stan, as they say.
That's wild. I never really got into them, but there was a band from Abbotsford called Martial Law that started off.
That.
You do, because they started off as like a Christian pop punk band that would cover their Titanic theme, and then all of the members switched out, and then it turned into like a full on AFI, non-Christian AFI band.
Yeah. I do remember that. I forgot about that band completely, actually. There's a few bands like that. Sealand Hall was fucking weird because you just took what you could get, you know?
So we were in the same place a bunch of times, I guess.
We played together. Do you remember that? I mean, I'm sure you don't, but
I remember that we've talked about it briefly in passing, but I truly don't remember. And also, I was like even more of a little shit back then, and I was just always giggling in my parents' MPV with Ryan Dick the whole time.
Right. Well, my screamo band, our last show, was with The Hand, your band.
Amazing.
At Sealand Hall. And I still have the poster somewhere. I mean, nobody gives a fuck, but...
I loved when that website Gig Posters still had like sort of the shitty small Vancouver shows that people didn't remember.
There's a name I haven't heard in quite some time.
So I think... You're kind of like me in that you don't belong to one group, but you sort of are aware of it and you're surrounding it all. So something I love to talk to people about when I get the chance is like trying to understand. Like for me, for example, I feel like I could never truly be a hardcore kid because I've always found. I remember going to the Java joint when I was like 16 and being like, "This is really funny." But you can't. If you're admitting that it's funny, then you can't really participate truly.
Yeah,
you'll never be able to be fully down.
I always took it pretty serious. I mean, the hardcore band I was in was so serious, you know. But I think Nick from Woolworm, he always thought it was funny too. I don't know. It is obviously so fucking funny, all of it. But you know, you probably also had the experience of being at like a really good hardcore show, and people are going crazy and climbing all over each other and shit, and it doesn't seem funny. It just seems like cool and like I don't know. It's like a matter of like
for sure.
you.
I guess that's true. Like, I remember seeing Converge and American Nightmare when I was 16, and I definitely didn't find that funny. But then the other ones I would go to, it would be like I would be getting really into it and thinking it was really cool, and then Scott Vogel would start talking, and I'd be like, okay, no, this is still funny.
Well, that's a perfect example, too, because obviously so funny on purpose, I think, right?
I mean, that's generous. It's possible.
100% he has a sense of humor. I think Terror, like, their music is... like, they must be laughing their ass off when they're writing that shit.
It's true.
I assume. I don't know. I know that he's like a funny person. So, having never spoken to him or anything, but...
I mean, that's one aspect of kind of the hardcore philosophy book that I just started writing out loud right now that I'm now going to complete.
Oh, okay.
But the other... well, I guess actually to take that to its logical conclusion is like bands like Angel Dust and Turnstile are sick, but also the music that they're making is very funny, but also you're not allowed to ever say that out loud because then you're breaking the code.
Oh, really?
I don't know. That's how I feel about it. It's like, I see. You have to like, you have to play like Violent Femmes ass music, but then if you admit that it's funny, then you're breaking the code.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that does make sense. I feel you on that.
Then some FSU guys are going to show up at your house and be like, yo, did you just make a joke about this?
Don't say that.
But then the other thing is, I think Woolworm is in a very special place because you've achieved kind of the Dinosaur Jr. status or something where like you get to actually play hardcore shows, but you are not necessarily playing hardcore. Like, what's the secret? Yeah. How did you crack that code? What is the secret?
It just comes down to having some pals. As with most things in life, the key is networking, Josiah.
Oh my God. Such a
You just got to get in there and you got to just network. Left and right. You got to hand out CDs, demo CDs to everyone you see that's wearing gym shorts.
Oh,
I don't know what it is, man. Like, it's just like people are nice to us from all over the place. Hardcore. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just our pals.
It's because there's secret mosh parts in there.
Yeah, but nobody's moshing at Woolworm. Well, there was a time, there was a brief period where it seemed like people were actually like moshing all the time, but I think we're back to our sort of like Coldplay roots.
Right. So throughout it all, I'm trying to figure out where Blink-182 would have played any kind of role, if at all.
Right before AFI, obviously, was like, I feel like AFI, that was like the first punk band, I guess, that I was like, I felt like was mine. You know what I mean? When you're in high school and it's like, this band is mine.
Yeah.
Nobody else listen to them. Nobody else get their shirt. Alex had like an Alkaline Trio shirt throughout high school, and I was like, ooh, I better not listen to that band.
So yeah, I can understand that for sure.
You just get possessive about, but so
I feel like AFI was actually the perfect band for that because I would always either know people who gave no shit about AFI, including myself, or someone who was just completely obsessed. But you would never meet like a casual AFI fan.
Yeah, they had like a sort of cult, not a cult following, but like they had like a sort of ritualistic aspect to their shows. Like I had never seen them even, but I know that they would like start their shows with like the same like epic intro and shit, and people are like, I don't know. I just imagined like people up front like lighting candles when they came out and stuff. Obviously, I was just like this is again hard to admit, but I was just so like emo. I was so emo in high school, and it just really resonated with me because there were no jokes. It was all serious.
And so you at the time you couldn't see that it was funny also?
No, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was like the be all end all of like, this is like as good music gets.
Awesome.
But obviously now I do think it's funny. So anyways, Blink-182 was like, I mean, they blew up, and you know more about this than I do, but whenever like What's My Age again came out, that was my first time hearing them.
Right.
On like the radio. Another thing that happened in around the year 2000 was 99.3 The Fox.
Of course, the Fox rocks.
the Vancouver rock radio station. Like nu metal was just becoming popular, and pop punk. Both these things were sort of like becoming more ubiquitous at the same time. And so the Fox did this like rebranding. I don't know what you would call it, but they like a reformatting. Like 1 week in, I guess it was 2000. They just decided we're not going to play any more like Tragically Hip or 5440 or shit like that. Like from now on, we're only going to play like what the kids want. And
damn, I do not remember that at all.
I was a huge radio guy. Like this was pretty much pre-file sharing. So I was just like listening to the Fox all the time. I didn't have cable. I didn't have much music. So the radio fully determined my taste in music around this time. And so around that time, like it was almost like 1 week, I heard all this shit for the first time because the radio was suddenly willing to play it. Like Linkin Park, Incubus, Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, Sum 41, and Blink-182 and Gob. Like all those bands, I just got into them all at the same time. And then as soon as I discovered file sharing, I was like, well, fuck all this. Now I can listen to AFI.
Right. So your like Blink-182 romance was fairly brief then?
It was brief, and I remember like even actively disliking it pretty quickly after I got into it. I did get the Mark, Tom, and Travis show as a birthday present the same year that I got like Issues by Korn as a birthday present. I did think it whipped ass.
So you were still stoked? That made me...
Yeah, I was totally down with it.
That combination reminded me of when my extended family had like a... what's it called? Where you just pull a name at Christmas, you know? Like you just get one person.
Yeah. Yankee swap.
Yeah, something like that. Doesn't that sound racist in a way? I mean, obviously it's clearly not.
Does,
but
yeah.
I remember my cousin, like I pretty much never had like a Korn phase until 2 years ago.
Okay.
but I remember my cousin got me like the Family Values Live CD, and that was my only gift. God. And I was like so bummed out because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't give a shit about this stuff. And
that CD, if it's the CD I'm thinking of, that was like formative for me.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think there was like some rappers on it. Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
We were talking about doing a Family Values tour set for Halloween.
Oh my God.
We're gonna do like, this is ultimately just way too much effort.
Yeah, like it's actually quite musical. Like you have to, there's a lot going on.
No, that's true. Yeah,
I feel like you need a seventh string for a lot of those songs.
Yeah.
So Blink-182 is pretty brief then for you, and I guess I'm guessing
it was always more Alex's thing. I remember like self-titled, or what's it, self-untitled?
Yeah, I think it's like untitled, or we call it self-unentitled, just to cover all the bases to be safe. Okay. I don't really know. No one knows what it's called, and when I say no one knows what it's called, I mean everyone knows way more about Blink-182 than us.
Okay. I remember when that came out, I remember like riding around in Alex's car listening to that, and I remember being like, kind of stoked on it because there were, AFI parts on it.
Right. Yeah, like if you were really emo back then, and you still secretly are, footnote, but like I could see you really liking that. I remember like thinking that I was done with Blink-182, and then I bought the self-titled album for my friend Darren Thomason. I'm sure you know Darren.
Oh, yeah, I love him.
I bought that for him for, I think, his birthday, and then like both of us were kind of like giggling like it was a joke, and then we both fucking loved it so much and listened to it together all the time in Langley. Where did you guys grow up?
Oh, in North Vancouver.
In North Vancouver, okay.
Like, I want to say blocks from Sealand Hall.
Wow.
Maybe more than a few blocks.
When people say North Van, literally all I ever think of is Sealand Hall anyways.
Okay, good. Not much of a legacy beyond that.
Right. I think there's a burger place that Nardwar likes or whatever, but I don't care about that.
Oh yeah, Nardwar's from there. That's fun.
Yeah. So then obviously when you became like a Seisha guy, you even rejected AFI. Like you obviously at that point you're not listening to Blink-182.
Certainly not. Yeah, no, I mean like I don't know. It's hard to say because it was everywhere. Everybody listened to Blink-182. Like even when we didn't listen to them anymore, you know, maybe somebody would put it on at a party or whatever, and everybody would be down. I feel like I was always sort of down.
Right.
But I do remember a brief period in grade 9 where I was too cool or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to wish that we could go back culturally to being too cool for things again a little bit sometimes. But I think it's too late. We're all too... we all just, like, are all shameless with our pleasures now. There's no more guilt to it.
It's true. I was thinking, like, today I was thinking about... Because I figured we'd talk about, like, guilty pleasure type shit. And I was, like, thinking, like, what am I actually embarrassed to listen to?
Right.
And, like, I don't know. Maybe, like... Oh, no, there's things that I, like, listen to that I actually, like... I don't know. I'm afraid to... I won't say them. But it's not, like, Nickelback. It's not, like, fucking...
Is it like things that seem pretentious or seem like
pretty
snobby?
much,
yeah, I know. I feel that way too. Like, I don't want to admit that I'm listening to some like snobby techno or something. I just want to be like, oh, I'm listening to ska.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird time.
It is a weird time.
But
nobody's ashamed of anything. Everybody's... I mean... That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so at this point then, now...
Yes.
What's going into your songwriting in terms of like, even conscious or unconscious? Like, is there some Davey Havoc going into Woolworm?
Ooh, I don't think so. I do think like it's still the same as it's always been. It'd be like, I don't know. I'll hear a song and be like, oh, I want a song like this. I want that one. I'll hear like fucking some song from the 80s on the radio or something, and I'll be like, you know something? I want a song that sounds exactly like this. So then I'll think about it all day, and I'll go home and I'll just like play guitar, and whatever comes out of me, I will think that it sounds like that. Like, you know that song? Here's an example. That song by Spoons, plural, Spoons, The Old Emotions. You know that song?
No, I can't think of it right now.
Well, it's something you definitely like know it if you heard it. But like one of our recent songs, I don't know. I thought I like heard that song on the radio. I'm like, this whips ass. And then literally that night, I tried to write a song that ripped it off, and you know, it turned out completely different. So that's just usually the method, is just filter something through the prism of my dumbass brain,
right? And
then like let it steep for a few hours, and then try to rip something off and fail.
I think that is a very Corman thing to do as well.
Aye.
But instead of like ripping off some sort of amazing chord breakdown or something, you're trying to rip off pop songs.
Like, it's never explicit. And I mean, I'll rip off anything. We'll rip off, like, you know, Slipknot. We'll rip off Psychosocial. I'll do it right now. You give me our next. Do you dare me?
I dare you.
Song, like,
I thought you were going to say Anti-Scene. You were going to rip them off, and isn't that like some sort of bar? You should rip off like the Casualties or something. I'm going to hear a street punk song from you.
Oh, I'm actually probably way more down with that than ever.
So, other than this song being funny by Blink-182, I mean, you really are truly a very talented songwriter. I'm curious, kind of like these overwritten modern like pop punk song, like what? Just like from a songwriting perspective, how do you feel about this song Wildfire?
Oh, you said it, overwritten. Like I couldn't believe it. Like it's like as soon as it starts, I'm like, here we go. This is a Blink-182 song. Classic shit. It's got that little riff, got that bass thing.
Yeah.
And then the Power Rangers riff is like, like, give me a break. And then when he starts singing, no problem. And the part that really got me was, I guess, Matt Skiba coming in.
Right.
In the second verse.
Have you heard Blink with Matt Skiba yet?
I only know the like singles.
Right.
Like Blame It On My Youth and Bored to Death. Yeah, and I mean, I've listened to your podcast a lot, so I feel like I know the vibe.
Right.
Not listening to it voluntarily that often.
Well, I mean, yeah.
When he comes in that second verse, like, he comes in with, I don't know, he's like starts, it's almost like a round or something like that.
Right.
It's like Gilbert and Sullivan. That's seriously what it reminds me of. And then, of course, this is such a horrible decision for anybody to do, but you write a long ass outro, and in that outro introduce a bunch of new lyrics that completely are not about anything else that the song has been about.
Right.
Just like got to cram it all in there.
And
Get
then
it all out.
And then it ends with the ultimate vocalism, the underdogs came home.
Oh. Yeah, like, why is that? Why would you
put that on the back of a Letterman jacket, and I'll buy that shit.
Yeah, I would buy that. It's true.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It's so like maximalist. The song to me is like each part you can figure out that it's just a normal time signature, but you put it all together and you're like, is this a Dillinger Escape Plan song?
Yeah, it's just too much. It's a little too much for me. However, I listened to it like 4 times, and I mean, I do like it because I do like bullshit. But the other, like, I listened to it a bunch, and then I found that I had it in my head, and then I realized that it wasn't in my head. It was Bored to Death and Blame It on My Youth were in my head instead. I just got them all mixed up, and it all just made like this congealed mass.
They all kind of fit together, and yeah, I think it's something I'm realizing that I don't even know if I've articulated yet is that it's easy to think that all of these new Blink songs are kind of just like shat out too quickly. But then when you really actually think about it, the melodies are probably just overthought.
Yeah,
it's kind of the opposite.
Isn't it like a focus grouped or something? Like I remember in one episode you guys were talking about like the Evanescence guy was in there helping them. Yeah,
they have like tons of songs. Like some of their new songs have like 6 writing credits on them and stuff.
Right. And obviously, you know, when that goes well, you know, no one will ever know that 20 people helped write Sicko Mode or whatever.
Yeah, true. But then you got to think like, I mean, you're writing tons of songs, tons of great songs, and you have a job and a life, and you're not like a rich guy. So imagine if
I think also you just also hit the nail on the head again, because I'm not fucking rich.
Well, that's the thing. Like, imagine your day was just you wake up in the morning and then you have to just write more songs. Like maybe it's just like too much time spent on it. Maybe, and that's the funny thing is like, doesn't he say something about dying for a paycheck on this?
Oh, I remember the part about cheating on your girlfriend and taking Xanax. Was that this song, or am I mixed up? Okay, yeah, I couldn't believe that.
It was one of the 5 songs that are mashed together in here.
Yeah, that was like, I mean, that was prescient. Talking about Xanax, like way before Lil Peep, any of this shit. When did this song come out?
Yeah, this is like 2017, I guess.
Oh, okay. Sorry, not that.
But that was, I think that was right before Lil Peep passed away. But yeah, around the same time, maybe someone was like, "Yo, Xanax, not time to talk about Xanax."
No, I'm sure one of the 20 people that wrote this was like, "Yo, listen, you gotta mention Xanax in here. It's what the kids like."
Oh boy.
But I think honestly, just like I don't know, they're rich. They're fucking rich, and they're old. No problem. I'll listen to music by old people. I'll listen to music by rich people. But like nobody really wants to listen to music by old rich people. The things about all these bands that were, you know, all the bands that had like 3 classic albums and 10 horrible albums after that.
Right.
Nick calls them Simpson bands.
Yeah.
It's because they all, you know, they had like no money. They were going for it, like their heart and soul, all that shit. Their equipment was bad. They didn't know what they were doing. For the most part, they were just like jerking around in the studio. But then, you know, you introduce money and they're just, I don't know, shells of their former selves. Anyways, I hope it happens to me one day.
I hope so too, because I gotta say I agree with that theory to an extent, but I also enjoy new Weezer, and I like sort of I like hearing the ghost of the past that's in there a little bit, and then also hearing the rich guy stuff that's going on.
Yeah, don't get me started on Weezer.
Okay, another example could perhaps be post Wake the Dead, Comeback Kid.
No, it's so many bands. It's like almost every band.
Yeah,
like any band that anybody's heard of.
It's true.
I feel like there's always the beginning, and then there's always the money albums. It works for rappers too, like Jay-Z and shit.
That's
like,
true.
Do you remember when Jay-Z was respected?
So who's okay, let's go with your theory that you like music from rich people and you like music from old people, but not rich old people. The old people thing I'm thinking
it doesn't work. It falls apart.
It has to be somebody like searching for Sugarman or whatever. Like that's like poor and old. That makes sense. But what about like rich people who are young? And
it doesn't work because I like Britney Spears and shit and like Janet and.
Well, no, I'm trying to think of who would be someone who's rich not from their music but making good music. I guess just like all of the secret trust funders in the punk scene everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to his music, but I know Ryan Gosling.
Right.
Apparently, his album is amazing.
Ryan Gosling there was a rumor that he staged dove at American Nightmare show when he was filming this music festival movie, but I don't know.
I'm sure he just like. Sure he saw someone stage dive.
No one looks into this stuff as much as I do, but I spent a good few hours on the B9 board, RIP, and I couldn't find any definitive proof that Ryan Gosling stage dived. So
yeah, and you won't. Didn't do it. It's a government cover-up.
Okay, well, Giles, now it's time for you to plug away, my friend. Please.
Plug away. Well, I hope everybody listen. Okay, listen. I don't care what Josiah says. If he says you should listen to our music, just ignore that. Go listen to our music, though. Don't listen to Josiah, but please listen to our new album. It comes out on Friday. Oh, I guess it comes out the day
today. I've planned this. I'm really trying hard here to give you the Blink-155 bump because between my retweets of obscure deep Facebook memes and whatnot, the recommendation is certainly not helping. But I'm telling everyone right now, Awe by Woolworm is out today on Mint Records, produced by friend of the pod, fucking Jay Arner, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fuck yeah, Jay Arner. Please, I don't know, listen to it. I'm sorry I said that stuff about you, Josiah. I do hope people keep listening to you in whatever capacity they deem necessary. And also, if you're in Vancouver, I hope you will come to the record release show, which actually is next Friday, a week today. We got Kamikaze Nurse, Outpatient, and Juice. 3 of the coolest bands I know.
You couldn't have done it at Sealand Hall, though? That's disappointing.
Damn. I never want to go back there ever again.
Hey, tell us this. Is there so this is a good sort of scavenger hunt, maybe. Okay. Is there like a riff or a hook or something that you stole from somewhere specific that is buried on the Woolworm record?
Yes, absolutely. There's obviously a few, but literally buried in the mix in one of the songs is the riff from Party in the USA.
Oh my God.
Good luck. Good luck, eager listeners.
Okay, on that note, I have one more conspiracy theory along with Ryan Gosling stage dive. This one was told to me by our mutual friend. I don't want to throw him under the bus. But I'll tell you who he is after we stop recording. But he told me that apparently Tragedy lifted a bunch of riffs from NoFX.
Oh, I haven't heard that, but that rocks.
Do you think, I mean, I can hear it. It sounds like Tragedy literally is just the decline. Like literally, lyrically and everything, Tragedy is the decline.
I had not considered that, but yeah. Tragedy whips ass. NoFX, time and a place.
Right. Agree.